future. The bill will now be considered by the full Senate. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
An employee at the Pell City High School has resigned from his job after being charged with solicitation of a minor. Robert Evans was booked in the St. Clair County Jail earlier this week. A police investigation into Evans started when a school resource officer alerted them to a disturbance that occurred on campus. Evans worked in the athletics department as a janitor. A Mountain Brook mother has entered a plea of not guilty when it comes to the death of her 10-year-old daughter back in July of 2023. Sarah Mullican is also facing charges for speeding and attempting to elude police. All of that occurred before the crash, which ultimately killed Annabelle Mullican. The woman's other daughter was also in the vehicle during that chase and survived the crash. A trial date for Mullican and this case has not yet been set. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program. Yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-36A, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Welcome in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark, or as we're calling the show online, Joey Clark Live. And, well, today the top news apparently has to do around Trump's legal matters. What a surprise. What a surprise. But Allison Sinclair, who's usually on Alabama Unfiltered, she'll be joining me here before too long, as promised. And, well, let's get into it, because when you go to occasionally it's fun to check on what, the old rags are putting out there, all the regime rags, if I could talk in that manner. And occasionally, just to check my blood pressure, I go to drudgereport.com in the mornings. And it really is amazing. It still baffles me how much Drudge Report has changed over these last few years of Trump. In fact, I used to describe Trump as a walking, talking Drudge Report. No longer. Drudge Report has turned on the man. And so when you go to Drudge Report this morning, you see ominous eyes. Donald Trump's eyes, and it's a close crop shot where all you're seeing is his brow furrowed and his eyes glaring into the camera. The headlines in all red read, Supreme Court shock. Trump claims assassination privilege. Kill a rival. Kill an enemy. Kill Hillary. What if King orders coup? Man, I'm in too good of a mood today to let all this get me down. So this is apparently all over the question of presidential immunity. Can a president actually be prosecuted for things he did while officially in office? And so what is brought up is, hey, could Barack Obama be charged for killing an American citizen with a drone? Well, the prosecutors of Trump say, well, the U.S. government has looked into that fact pattern and decided no charges could be brought. So if you are working with hand in glove with the CIA to kill Americans, that's just fine and dandy. But if there's some hypothetical privilege to assassinate, which, again, this is a hypothetical testing the lengths of what presidential immunity actually entails, well, that means he's going to kill Hillary. Do you not remember that Trump was the guy, lock her up, and then he didn't? This is what baffles me about all this. That all of a sudden Trump is going to turn into Mussolini. Trump is going to turn into Hitler. Oh, he's just like Putin. I don't see it. What I see is a corrupt regime who doesn't want to be challenged by a wild card. And they're pulling out all the stops to try to take him down. But of course, the other case is going on there in New York City when it comes to the catch and kill, the Stormy Daniels federal election campaign finance violation somehow or the other. And of course, there's more and more coming out from Mr. David Pecker. And then, of course, the Playboy playmate in question in this, I think Karen McDougal's her name. She didn't want to be the next Lewinsky. Were you like really young and an intern or something? Yeah, maybe one of these days, they should take responsibility. But it is interesting how they're trying to convince us how terrible Trump is. I mean, who would want to be a billionaire who sleeps with good-looking women and builds buildings and brags on TV about, I'm really rich? I mean, who wouldn't want to be that guy? Nobody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be meek and mild, right? Well, that ain't the America I know. But also in the news, another top court case. And this guy kind of looks like the sins he's committed. You know how the theory goes that if you commit a lot of sins in life, it shows up on your face? I mean, you can look at mine, and there's a few there. But I'm looking at the face of Harvey Weinstein. And apparently Harvey Weinstein's conviction, overturned by New York's top court, egregious improper rulings, rules the top court. It's a panel of female judges. Now, he's still going to be in prison for California charges, and he could still, I think, be charged again in some ways. But Harvey Weinstein is vindicated? No, it's just, sometimes the courts can be overzealous. Now, in more economic news that actually affects everybody, this long-term trend is not good. GDP is now slowed to 1.6%. That's about half of what it was in the fourth quarter. And keep in mind, inflation has not yet been beaten. Well, in fact, inflation is persisting. Inflation has been sticky, even on Supercore, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. But that is the top news economically, that GDP has slowed to 1.6%. It really is not a good sign for the Biden economy. Gross domestic product, broad measure of goods and services produced in the economy. This is through January through March. Increase at 1.6% annualized pace, below the estimated 2.4%. The personal consumption expenditures price index, a key inflation variable for the Federal Reserve. I love how they just keep coming up with new stats. That this is actually our marker. But consumer spending increased 2.5% in the period, down from a 3.3% gain in the fourth quarter and below the 3% Wall Street estimate. So with economic growth being weaker, as we've learned from Peter St. Onge, the jobs reports being constantly revised down. And in fact, most of the jobs are going to part-time work, and the foreign-born, in fact, native-born Americans have lost almost 1.5 million jobs in the last few economic quarters. So what a miserable economy. And yet you will have Biden, you will have the propagandist, if I could use that word, They're at the New York Times or the Washington Post or surrounding the Biden White House, trying to convince you that everything is fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. And yet, it's not. Everyday Americans can see this is not a good time. And it's one of those things where you wonder, when is it going to give? Because one thing conservatives talk about constantly is that we're at a tipping point now. You had Goldwater saying, we're at a tipping point now. Oh, this election's the most important ever. If we don't win this election, the republic is done. Yeah, but, I mean, there have been plenty of times where Republicans win, and the republic seemed done as well. But I'm not focusing on the election cycle. In fact, I think it is incredibly likely that Joe Biden will win. Why? Because he's so much better? No. Look at everything that is being thrown at Trump. The lawfare, the constant attacks in media. And for every person on the right in the base of the Trump train that gets riled up at Trump being hit hard, there are more and more folks who love to hate on Trump. The industry is back to booming. You've got all these roadblocks in his way. The huge indictment just given down in Arizona, going after all sorts of what they call fake electors for questioning an election, which is constitutional. You can question an election. And honestly, members of the Electoral College can vote how they want. But if we're going to start prosecuting people, let's start prosecuting all the Hollywood actors that called for faithless electors in 2016. But, hypocrisy is the mother's milk of politics. But when you look at everything ahead of Trump, if you have to put a bunch of money, say, on the line, if you had to bet on this, you got to bet on Biden. Is that a good thing for the United States? No. But that, to me, is probably the most likely outcome. And yet, down the road, who knows what happens next? So you could say to yourself, this is the most important election in American history. But that's what we say every 4 years. What I'm worried about is not the election. What I'm worried about are the long-term trends in American history. 20 to 25, 30 years of being the dominant nation on the face of the earth. The most dominant nation. We essentially, yes, have an empire. It's what most of the international institutions, from NATO to the UN to so many others, they would not exist if not for the backing and the funding of the United States of America. And when you look at the sources of our power, our money, our world reserve status, well, how will we do in, say, in the year 2000? We're doing all right. But less and less countries are using the dollar to settle transactions in their economy. Our debt has ballooned and will continue to balloon if something doesn't change. And then when you look at the military side of things, we don't have the production capacity. We are not the same nation as in the 30s and the 40s that decided to mobilize. Maybe even too late. We're not that same nation anymore. We are being stretched thin. And just trying to help arm the Ukrainians, and even with the extra arming of the Ukrainians, the Russians are outproducing and using things like artillery and the next and the next and the next, now relying on the Iranians and the Chinese and even the North Koreans for weapons. It's a different day and age. And then when you look at the fundamentals of the American economy, the trend seems to be we have to issue more and more debt for less and less growth that serves the upper class, that serves the ruling class, the politically connected, and continues to grind down underfoot everyday Americans. And then they throw you a pittance. They throw you a crutch after breaking your leg. Not good times, folks. But of course, you might be all right. I might be all right. But when you look at the nation and the way things are going, we don't come across as strong and confident, able and willing to accomplish great things. We come across as neurotic, divided. and weak while pretending we're still strong, or as strong as we used to be. Like Joe Biden's the perfect embodiment of what's happening in America. I can still go, man. I'm good. While his population says F you, at least half the population to him. America's become an old, senile man who doesn't know when to hang it up. Pass it on to the next generation. Let's just hope, and I'm hoping it won't happen, but I'm thoroughly convinced we're going to have to go through some great calamity or crucible for everybody to wake up. Because right now, we can continue to paper over. Everything's fine. Don't slay my sacred cow. Just keep the gravy coming on in. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. And I know that's a happy way to start the day, but let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Red Top. Yes, it is a happy way to start the day. We got a lot of good information here. And, by the way, I've been listening almost all morning to the Supreme Court hearings, and I guess you probably have some, too. It's pretty intense, isn't it, Joe?
Oh, it absolutely is.
I mean, the instant they said they started with the hard questions right away, and it ain't stopped yet.
Well, and should presidents be immune from prosecution if they weren't impeached is, I think, what it comes down to here. And it could, they're using the extremes to make the point. So you're saying a president could assassinate his political opponents? I guess, but, in the other way, if we get Trump this way, does not open up every current and ex-president to prosecution, given that, and I love that aspect of it, Red Top. It's essentially admitting that presidents, in the due course of their duties, have to commit crimes.
Yeah, and the whole retroactive thing is a very, very basic. But they're about to screw a bunch of stuff up, and then I forgot which one of them was asking about the separation of powers and the impeachment and all that. Well, that's all over with, so that should have been settled.
Huh.
And, this is tough. Now, let me bring up another quick point that is truly amazing and historical. 60 countries are holding elections basically now. Over 4 billion people are voting on this planet for the first time. And we can't say one good thing about America is responsible for that. Whatever good and evils that we spread and possess, it has had a tremendous influence. And there's never been a time in my lifetime where 60 countries are voting all at the same time. The European vote is big time because those people only vote every 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you realize that. They almost have no say in their government.
Well, especially the EU. I mean, it's so removed from accountability of the actual people. But you're seeing Europe come alive. I mean, especially the farmers and folks pushing back against the green agenda. And I think there are also a lot of folks who are tired of being sort of the puppets of the U.S., so to speak.
Yes, but you got to admit, 60 countries, 4 billion people voting is stunning. So the world is changing. It's going to start to sway back and forth in more extremes as a result of that, because in so many countries, it's becoming the first time a lot of people ever had a chance to vote.
The number, I was talking about this, I guess, with Jeff Poor yesterday. The thing I'm most worried about is in trying to look strong, like push back the Russians or, continue to help the economy, yada, 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 that we're doing things that are actually self-destructive. It's kind of like being addicted to a drug or alcohol, and you realize that, well, we got to stretch the soup. We can't just stop cold turkey. And yet, by doing that, we're just playing back into the same destructive pattern. What I mean is, say, the part of this bill they just passed, the Senate just passed, the supplemental. We have now taken the Russian assets that were frozen and handed them over to Ukraine. If you're a country that's using the Western monetary system, you now know clear as day that if you get on the wrong side of the United States, all your money all over the world can be frozen and stolen. That does not create a secure world reserve currency. And there are a few other examples where by trying to be strong, we're sort of pushing this new multipolar world into existence.
Yes, and the whole permanence of America being the currency of the world forever is a pipe dream anyway.
Right.
It's not realistic. And, I don't see people your age group and undergoing for any of this crap. Their priorities are nowhere near this way. And just kind of the priorities of the generation beyond me. It's not, even though I'm 70 years old, I'm at the tail end of that group. I'm the youngest of them. So I don't believe in that crap anyway. But anyway, but we know I'm just a left-handed musician. And I've got to make sure I put this disclaimer again. The views and opinions of this caller in no way reflect the views and opinions of anybody that ever went to St. Pete. Roll Tide, no Trump. Thank you.
Smoke them if you got them. 272-9228. Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you out with any of your pest control problems. 'Tis the season, though, to look out for termites and mosquitoes. I mean, all the little critters, all those little insects, bugs are coming to life. But when it comes to mosquitoes, you probably would want to enjoy your backyard or maybe the front porch without having to spray yourself or light up those candles that don't even work. Or it could be you're worried about your property. You haven't had it checked in a while for termites. It's better to get the treatment done before there's any damage. It's much cheaper. Homeowners insurance doesn't cover treatment or damage, so go with the cheaper option. Do some preventative maintenance there by getting Pest Pro Services out to check out your home, make sure the termites aren't coming alive and getting into your humble abode. But of course, they can help you with all those pest control problems. And that's why I suggest when you deal with Pest Pro, you might as well make them your everyday pest control company. Call them today at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. Dot, spring is already here.
Oh, I'm so glad too. I'm tired of being cold. With spring, we're starting to bring out the wicker furniture. We are getting in the iron outdoor furniture and just a lot of things that's just going to brighten your day.
Now, if somebody needs some furniture for their home, you have a good selection, don't you?
If there's any furniture that you can't find anywhere else, come to Eastbrook because we have a wonderful selection of solid, good, heavy furniture at excellent prices. Actually, better than you're going to find anywhere else. Just come see us and walk around all 3 floors and let's help you out to fill up those living rooms and dining rooms and bedrooms, but we've got it all.
Do you have any booth space available this time?
I have booth space available, so come see us.
All right, give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday is 10 until 6. Saturday is 9 until 6, and Sunday 12:30 to 4:30.
Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
Select Quote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. Thanks for everybody watching on the X platform, Twitter, as well as on YouTube. Just search Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel there. And for those just tuning in, if you're catching me online, this is just a humble little talk show out of Montgomery, Alabama. So we do what we can. We'll cover local stuff, state stuff, national, international, and we'll just be silly sometimes too. If not, sometimes downright suicidal. Depends on the news cycle. But Justice Alito just blew up the entire argument by the DOJ, claims one group. Alito, quote, "If the president gets advice from the attorney general that something is lawful, is that an absolute defense?" Dreeben, the prosecuting lawyer here in this case, says yes. Alito, wouldn't the president just pick an AG who will let him do whatever he wants? Dreeben looks stunned. Apparently the AG can provide absolute immunity, but the president, who is his boss, can't. Wow. This could be going to interesting territory, and that might be the saving grace for Trump. But if all these cases continue, I just say prepare yourself for Trump losing, and pray for a miracle if that's the sort of miracle you want. Let's go to the phones and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Joey, good to talk to you. I was going to call in regards to the supplemental, and you know, I'm one of those nerds that will call my congressperson, and which Mike Rogers does not represent me in Congress. Right now, Barry Moore does, and so I called his office last week in regards to this, and first of all, one of the guys hung up on me. And then I called back and told the next person who answered, you know, you just don't hang up on constituents. And of course, I was not being rude at all. I think they just been hearing an earful. But
yeah.
The really sad part about all this was the girl that did answer. You know, her argument was a couple things. You know, first of all, if we don't stop Putin where he is, he's going to go into NATO and take over Europe. And then the second argument they had is, well, this is really us spending $60 billion in Ukraine and all this other stuff is really going to be a boom to the economy of the state of Alabama. And I told her, I said, that is really kind of a real sad state of affairs when you're saying killing a bunch of people and producing war munitions is a economic help for our economy. To me, that was just kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, debt finance weapons of war. Isn't that a great way to get rich?
Yeah, right. So it's just they're saying, well, you know, we're spending $60 billion, but it's going to come back to us. And
what did you ask her? What do you mean by us?
Yeah. Well, then I said, well, you mean the military-industrial complex you pay Mike Rogers? You know, gives him campaign donations. But then, I mean, I've never really been in some argument with somebody in D.C., but this thing went on for 30 minutes. And, yeah, which was crazy. And then she started getting real frustrated with me and called me a Putin apologist.
Wow. So
Yeah,
wait, so just to give this back to you, this is a staffer in Mike Rogers' office.
That's correct.
You know, I keep bringing up this book I've been reading this week called Human Smoke. You can understand maybe it's a lead up to World War II and what happened, so that's a pretty dark title. But it's amazing. It starts at World War I. And back then, if you opposed American entry into World War I, you were accused of being a stooge and an apologist for the Kaiser. And it's like, it's amazing how 100 years hence, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. And how many millions of people did that war grind up?
Oh, that some have described it, and I like the title because I think it's accurate, is the suicide of Christendom. And it's still reverberates.
23 million people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
well, the other odd part about the whole thing was after I was called a Putin apologist and all this stuff, you know, she was pretty upset with me about it. And I just don't understand kind of where their footing is on being able to fund all this stuff and at the same time not really, you know, care about where that we're keeping our borders wide open. That's what I kept telling her. I said, look, you know, we're spending all this money, but not one dime is going to go to protect our border. But of course, they didn't have any answer for that. And as they say, there's really no difference between a Republican and a Democrat, honestly.
well, not on, especially the moderates. The moderate has meant for a long time big warfare and big corporate welfare state. That's, you know, we'll compromise on spending more on everything in a cronyist way. Though I think the more I've looked into this, it's not so much that Putin's going to march across Europe. I don't think he has the capability to do it. But they're very worried about the so-called Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Because if you look at a map, folks, say right there on the northwest part of, I think it's Belarus, and there's Poland, and then there's that little enclave the Russians have held, thank you, FDR, called Kaliningrad. And, yeah, and so right there in the heart of Europe, so there's this, to connect the Baltic states, and they're like a tiny portion of this type of territory the Russians have taken in Ukraine. So there's this only little gap that the Russians control that connects the Baltic states to Poland. And so if the Russians very swiftly wanted to close that, I think the worry by a lot of Western folks is they could, no matter what we threw at them.
Yeah, it's really a sad state of affairs. Of course, none of this was going on for 4 years under Trump.
Right.
You know, and I just don't understand. I don't really know what the angle of the Biden administration is going to be when it comes to his stance on, you know, if you voted for Trump, you're going to get World War III. Well, my fear, Joey, about all this is that they're teeing us up for a major conflict. And I'm not, again, this is my conspiracy person in me, but my fear is they know it's so bad, and as far as Biden possibly getting reelected, that they'd be willing to put this world through a world war to stop that from happening at this point.
Yeah. There's some, I think, that would be willing to at least flirt with it.
Yeah, and we're flirting with it every day.
Yep.
And by the way, I'll let you go too. There was an interview with the mullahs, a mullah or whoever it was over in Iran. Did you see this by any chance?
No, I did not.
Well, it's on video, and of course there's subtitles on it, and they're talking to him. And he starts laughing. He says, "You know what? We're watching America destroy itself. We don't have to do anything. We're just watching America slowly evaporate into a shadow of its former self. And they're just waiting us out. They're waiting us out economically to let us just spend every dime we've got, go into debt. Now our interest on our debt is as much as the military's budget. And, you know, before you know it, we're going to be so upside down, we won't be able to go, you know, push our weight around because we don't have any money to do it."
Yeah, I think
the scariest part. It's kind of waiting us out.
That's the long game. And, you know, a principle I'm coming to is, hey, if we can defend it, let's defend it. But let's stop writing checks we can't cash. This is what Britain did in World War II. They said a war guarantee to Poland. If you go into Poland, we're going to really whoop you, Hitler. and Hitler called their bluff and almost beat them. And so I feel like the United States, especially with Eastern Europe, is in that position right now. Again, Taiwan doesn't worry me as much in the sense that I think the U.S. and its allies in that region could stop an amphibious landing. Now, China might choose to flatten it. But we need to pick essentially the territory we're going to defend and put a red line there and defend it, not continue to claim the entire Earth as our domain.
Yeah. Well, how about just our southern border?
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a good start. Well, appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Got to hit this break, and I see the lovely face of Allison Sinclair gracing the studio here. I have to be on my best behavior now. Hey, let's hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey, I got my bonus check today.
That's great, sweetheart.
Let's book that Hawaiian vacation right now.
Actually, I was thinking more like an electrical upgrade for our house.
What?
It's not all that glamorous, but updating your home's electrical system is a great investment, enhancing its value and your safety. The panel and wiring in most older homes were not designed to meet modern demands. The experts at Crosby Electric can update your system to give you peace of mind.
Sorry, honey, but I just want to feel safe in my own home.
Faulty wiring and electrical equipment are among leading causes of most home fires. Crosby Electric will make sure your panel, meter, circuit breakers, and receptacles are up to date.
I can just see us lying on the beach at Waikiki.
And I can see us lying in our own bed, knowing we're safe.
Okay, but next year...
I'll dance the hula in a grass skirt.
All right.
Sleep well with no electrical worries. For a free home assessment, visit crosbyelectric.com.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Pawn Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Hi, everybody. Our warming trend continues. Our storm-free pattern continues with a spectacular weekend forecast for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Today, another warm day with a high around 85. Good bit of sunshine. I have the rain chances under 20%, so very tiny. Nights are mild. Overnight low tonight down to about 61. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather continues, lots of sunshine, highs in the middle 80s right on through the upcoming weekend. A great forecast on the Gulf Coast beaches with highs in the 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At ASE Credit Union, financing your next adventure is easier than ever with rates as low as 5.25%. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon, or as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, turn down the music, hippie, thank you. At Montgomery Men's Health, they can, well, help you men out. And guys, let's just be honest. Two things can start to happen as fellas mature. One is erectile dysfunction. It's a real thing. You know what I'm talking about. And low testosterone. In fact, that could be causing you the bedroom issues. And I know guys hate going to the doctor, but Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of men who are a little hesitant of the normal doctor trips there. And, you know, don't put this stuff off. Don't put off these problems. Don't be embarrassed about it. Get it fixed. Especially if you notice a lack of motivation, drive, including a decrease in sex drive, loss of muscle mass, increased weight gain, unwanted. Well, you just feel like you're walking through life in a fog. Knowing whether or not you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And then at Montgomery Men's Health, they have low T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, you usually even notice an increased libido. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So you can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today. Now, that seemed like the only proper way to invite a lady onto the show. We have Allison Sinclair here in the studio. Usually you hear her from 9 till noon on Alabama Unfiltered, but she's here today. How you doing, Allison?
I don't know why. I seem to walk in, like last time I was here, right at the live read of the erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a real
like
problem.
God's joke.
It's a real problem.
And so I don't know if the listeners and watchers could see me, but I just put my head in my hand and just listen to Joey be so professional because, like, I giggle through the whole thing.
Well, we have a jewelry one coming up in a second, so that's a little
better.
more fitting.
Yeah, I couldn't do what you do. But you said don't joke about it, take it seriously. You did a great job.
Yeah, no, we've talked about it in funny ways too. Cat can't scratch it. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. It's again 272-9228. Let me check something real quick. I might read something here, Allison, that came my way because have you been seeing much of what's happened in Montgomery? Of course, what happened to Amy Dix about a week or so ago, where she was randomly shot, stray bullet.
Okay, I never knew her name. But what is going... I mean, Birmingham's bad, but that's bad.
Right, and the rate of homicide keeps increasing. There was a doctor there from Baptist South, I believe, who said it's not just the people who die, it's the number of gunshot wounds we had to treat. They keep going up, and up. And it just seems like there's no accountability, no fear in the criminals on the streets, and they ain't dumb. They know what they're allowed to get away with. So I had an anonymous person. Let's say this person's first initial is L. L wrote in saying, "Hello, Joey. I'm going to condense my story about being violently assaulted in broad daylight in a very busy and popular shopping center in Montgomery last March. Due to litigation, I will not mention the location, but I can tell you that it's very well established. I was a social worker for 33 years. I was attacked and beaten by a panhandler while on the job and with an elderly, very sick client because I refused to give him $5. I sustained mental and physical injuries that will remain with me the rest of my life. I was punched multiple times in the face and head. I blacked out and landed on the concrete sidewalk. My attacker continued to pound my head and he stomped my left thigh. My tailbone was injured. I sustained an ocular fracture and a concussion. My eyesight and hearing is very damaged. A man who was waiting for his wife at the grocery store came and saved my life. It took 4 911 calls before the police arrived, and honestly, they did not seem too concerned about finding my attacker. Another bystander informed the police my attacker was down the street at the gas station. He was arrested, and I filed assault charges. He already had 5 outstanding warrants on him. My attack was caught on video, and the police had to watch it before they would arrest him. I was told I would be contacted about his court date. The next morning, I received a phone call around 8:30 from a court official who told me that they had very good news for me. They told my attacker was going to plead guilty and all was well. All was not well for me. That is because someone at the court changed the charges from assault to trespassing. I learned later from the police chief that I would be unable to file a felony warrant for him because it would be double jeopardy. My attacker is in and out of jail, and he is still up to no good. To add insult to injury, workers' comp denied me and my employer of 33 years, victimized me again by refusing to take my calls or emails. My story is literally an onion. My husband contacted many politicians and agencies and got no response. We were in the process of fleeing the city, actually, Pike Road, when this happened to me. We live in a neighboring county now. If you want more details, let me know. Anonymous. I know somewhat who Anonymous is, but, well, thank you for sending me that, Anonymous. I'm happy to tell the story on air here. And it's stuff like that. Because I don't know Birmingham. I know Montgomery. I've lived here my whole life. I don't feel personally unsafe. Now, I might if I went to certain parts of town. But I go about my day. I don't feel personally unsafe. I think that has something to do with being a 35-year-old guy, number one. And also I've noticed when I was living with a bunch of other guys, roommates, we had dogs, people tend not to mess with the house full of men with dogs. Like, that's just a common sense thing. I cannot imagine being a woman in this town in certain areas. And just when you go back to the Amy Dick story, it's not even that she was supposed to be victimized, wasn't even intended for her. And what's happening here is the percentage is still very low. Say it's half a percentage point that something like this could happen to you. Well, if that percentage, that rate of, say, violent crime, homicide, shooting continues, just ekes up to 1%. That's a double chance of what you had before. And if you tell somebody, well, you can live in this great town, but there's a 1-2% chance that you might, end up attacked or shot for no good reason, there are going to be people who go, well, I'm good. I'm done. I'm out of here. And Montgomery's police department is just an absolute mess. They're going to look for a new chief. I hope they find somebody who's essentially like a general that can inspire folks to go work there and to be stringent in enforcing the law and actually get things back in the right direction. I mean, you're in the Birmingham area.
Right.
So what are you seeing in that part of the state?
I mean, Birmingham, it's like every day there's another homicide and we all go,
Yeah.
Okay. And that's sad. That's tragic. That's a human life. And I think it's kind of a lot of what we're seeing in schools and in libraries and just in culture in general. We want to say, well, this is just a New York City problem. This is just a San Francisco. No, it's Montgomery. It's Birmingham. It's Prattville. I mean, do you remember the Prattville story of the girl that was raped? I mean, like, it is in our own backyards.
Yep.
And what I don't understand, where is leadership in these Democrat-run cities? There seems to be no initiative whatsoever to correct this. And if you take it out to the end, it doesn't fare well for the city of Montgomery. It doesn't fare well for the city of Birmingham. It's going to start looking like San Francisco, where people just leave. So I can't figure out what their play is here.
Well, and maybe it didn't get bad enough quick enough, because there are big cities, Democrat-run big cities, Philadelphia comes to mind, where they realize, okay, we have a huge problem. Their homicide rate now is down from the last year.
Okay.
But it's because they put cops on the streets in the areas where a bunch of people were ending up shot and dead. And that, I'm the type of guy that says we have too many laws. The police shouldn't be harassing folks by any means. I hate when that happens. Why, when I covered Amy Dick's story, I also brought up what happened to Stephen Perkins there in Decatur. Like, to me, it looks like that man was ambushed. Now, if he had not pulled a weapon on his own, he'd probably still be alive. But how do you know that necessarily, that, it was the wrong way to be done? That said, I'm in the position where I have to say we need more police. We need more cops on the streets. And in fact, the more you have, the better and safer they'll be able to do their job. This is a nationwide problem, but it is something that we have to get a control of. Last time I talked to the mayor of the city, Stephen Reed, I asked him a very general question. You just been
he was on the show, wasn't he?
Yeah, this was January. It was right after he's reelected. And I said, so you just were reelected. What's the number one thing you want to get done in your second term? And he said, we have to get this homicide rate down. So he knows the problem. And the way he described most of the homicides in Montgomery, I think it's accurate. It starts on social media. It starts with a neighborhood beef. It starts with somebody showing, I'm the big man, the baddest on the block. And it's usually young black men who know each other, and they're fighting it out. Now, sometimes it's a little more complicated than that even, but that's usually what you see. And as you pointed out, that's a tragedy. But you got to wonder, when those folks are shot and killed, where are their people? Where are their friends and family at city council meetings? And sometimes it gets so bad that people do show up. But it shouldn't get this bad in the first place. And, I didn't expect to start today here in this first hour talking about this, but I got this note from Anonymous.
It's just, it's a good point where you say it's people that know each other. This is a home issue. This is a family, the total destruction of the nuclear family. This goes back to, it's way deeper than just more police on the streets. Mm-hmm. And so we have to start addressing that. But in the meantime, it's just human nature. People don't change unless there are consequences. So unless you have serious consequences, you don't let the assaulter get away with a trespassing.
Right.
Okay, what's the incentive for him not to go do it again? I mean, honestly, if you're homeless and you're on the streets, you got nothing to do. So why not let's just beat somebody up today? I'll just get a little misdemeanor. I mean, we have to start having consequences, and we have to get back to putting value on the nuclear family and fathers being in the home. I don't care if you're black, white. I mean, my parents are divorced. I didn't have a father in the home.
Right.
I deal with those issues. You want to talk about our issues, our personal issues, Joey?
Don't get me started.
And so like I experienced that loss as well. It almost seems so. There are days where I'm like, the problem of what's happening in America right now is so big. It makes me want to be like tap out. How do we even do this?
Right.
But I guess it's one step at a time. So what happened with Amy Dix? I heard everybody showed up at City Hall and rushed City Hall.
Pretty much.
And then I didn't hear anything after that. Did they do it? Did they?
Yeah, I mean, one guy demanded the mayor to resign and also know what the heck's going on with the chief of police. After that, the chief tendered his full resignation.
Right.
And now a new search is on for the chief. Amy Dix's mother, Frida Owens, got up and spoke, and I thought it was very powerful. It just showed folks that this is not... there's something added to the tragedy when it is so without purpose. Like, even the guy shooting didn't think they were shooting Amy Dix. Thought they were shooting each other. And it's that sort of negligence and carelessness that, and the way it was reported initially in the press, and they're probably getting it from the police, is non-life-threatening injuries. The woman's paralyzed for the rest of her life. She had a bullet go through her shoulder and her lung. She had no blood pressure on the scene. That sounds pretty life-threatening to me. Yeah. And, Anonymous is messaging me saying the assault charges were being changed to trespassing. It's one way things are getting watered down in terms of crime stats in the city.
Oh, that's a good point, too.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder how much goes unreported, especially when it's not necessarily violent crime, but it's theft and all sorts of other things that go on that can also hurt a community. But, hey, we've got a lot of calls rolling in here. So
no way.
Let's go to
That's
line
exciting.
1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello? Anybody there?
This is when it's scary. Do you get nervous when Eddie's not here to screen your calls?
Well, I'm worried that, somebody called in and then had a heart attack or something. Hey, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Kilroy.
Hey, Kilroy. Good to hear from
What's
you.
up, Kilroy?
Hey, y'all doing all right?
Yeah.
Nice to see you or hear you, Allison. Missed you this morning.
Thank you. I missed y'all. I was in the moldy, cigarette-smelling steakhouse. That lovely place.
Well, Joey, you mentioned that you're not living in fear, and I'm not saying live in fear, but because you're a 35-year-old man.
Sure, I think that plays into it. I'm not much of one. Don't get me started. Personally.
34-year-old man. We're about the same age. Don't have that mindset of well, it doesn't happen to me. It can't happen here. Unfortunately, I had that mindset until my daughter was kidnapped, and it was reinforced when our close friend Amy Dix was shot.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, my wife's, was leaving the casino and robbed. They took his gun and actually shot him in the head. He's alive. He's okay, but his attacker was arrested and has since been released. Charges pending. He's still out there. You can't have this mindset of oh yeah, that's a New York thing. That's a big city thing. It's only a 0.5% chance. But it's too late once it happens to you. You've got to be vigilant everywhere you go, especially in this city, at every red light, with every panhandler, coming out of every store. There are gas stations being shot up. You can't. You just.
I hear where you're coming from, man. That's what I talked about. Even if the chances are small, even if they go from a 0.5% to 1-2, that's still not a good thing. That still means there's very much a chance there.
Have you ever played poker?
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that there's only one card left that can come out and beat you, and it does?
Yep.
I just don't trust the odds.
Well, and I'm with you there. I was just stating the obvious, though. I can walk around, I've noticed, most places, and nobody would even look at me. It's kind of a privilege of being a fella.
So sad.
It's not
you
sad.
got fabulous hair. They're looking.
Okay, yeah.
The ladies are looking.
He's
don't
got that
get
perfect swoosh.
Stop it. Just stop it right now. Stop it talking to me.
But it is, and it goes back to, you know what? There's a difference in men and women.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who
But,
knew?
you know, to Greg's point, it could happen to anybody, especially when it's a random thing, like you're caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, and you can't beat a
And I'm
bullet.
sorry to give away your name. Sorry, Kilroy.
Hey, Kilroy, come on now.
Come on, Kilroy.
Wait, I didn't even hear you say it.
Yeah, it was just,
Nobody heard it.
it was casual.
It was casual.
Greg Budell. This is Greg Budell.
Craig? Yeah, Craig is
Craig.
yeah, that's your real name, right? Craig.
So what's the answer, Kilroy? Like, what do people need to start doing? What is our leadership in our cities, even small towns?
I don't have any faith in the leadership, and it wouldn't have helped Amy out, but everybody needs to be carrying to be able to defend yourself. I don't know what else to come down to. We're supposed to have 500 cops in Montgomery. We have about 190. Can't count on them. I hate to say it.
Well, I appreciate the call, man. I got my top of the hour break here.
Yes, sir.
Kilroy, folks. And before we hit the top of the hour, let's talk a little bit about something, somewhat of a pick-me-up. Of course, talking about Dillon Rings. And they're at Dillon Rings. They can help you out. They're a full-service jewelry shop. So when it comes to anything you might want when it comes to your jewelry, like, say, a spa treatment. You like going to the spa? Your jewelry will like it as well. Like, you can get it all shiny again, reset stones. And then the selection they have there is just incredible. I almost wanted to go into a Trump amazing
Your hands
store
are
there.
doing Trumpy things.
But I'm looking at their Facebook page, Dillon Rings, right now, and it's a custom creation he's made. Yeah, look up Dillon Rings on Facebook, Allison. And he's saying he's thrilled to unveil this stunning custom creation by Josh. Behold the elegance of sterling silver adorned with a radiant white sapphire pendant. My goodness, that looks great. And I've been telling you folks, Josh Ryder, the man is a true artist. So if you can dream it, he can make it a reality. It could be something poignant to remember somebody you've lost. It could be something fun, like you want a funky fresh medallion. We were talking about these like full diamond encrusted cross pendants that he has out now that are just absolutely beautiful. They really can do it all there at Dillon
Say
Rings.
the name one more time.
Dillon Rings. Dyllan Rings.
I'm looking it up on Facebook right now.
Yeah, I need a woman's opinion here because what he's able to do, like the guy is pretty spectacular.
Oh,
And-
this is like custom stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like literally he will do a digital rendering and then like have models where it's still on the computer. You're matching your skin tone to see if you like it or if you can make adjustments. Then he'll make it a real piece that you can wear and keep right for the rest of your life. The guy is a genius when it comes to jewelry there. He's genius in general too. Let's be honest, Josh.
Oh my goodness, Joey,
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Okay.
I'll show you at the break.
All right. So y'all check out Dillon Rings today. Again, you can always go to the Book of Faces or on Instagram. But I really encourage you to go to 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. It's just off of Atlanta Highway near Taylor Road. It's kind of where the old fun zone used to be. That's how I remember it. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll tell you more about him coming up. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Showing off some of that work.
Really pretty.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Former President Trump's lawyers argued before the U.S. Supreme Court that former presidents are entitled to absolute immunity for their official acts. Otherwise, they say politically motivated prosecutions of former occupants of the Oval Office would become routine. A ship traveling through the Gulf of Aden has come under attack. The latest assault likely carried out by Yemen's Houthi rebels. The first cargo ship passed through a newly opened deep water channel in Baltimore. That's after being struck in the harbor since the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed 4 weeks ago. The ship, one of 5 stranded vessels, expected to pass through the new temporary channel that has been opened. The Dow is down 441 points, the Nasdaq losing 173 now. This is SRN News.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos. A better, easier way to get term life insurance. All online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-3490. That's 800-275-3490.
Weather is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. Your health and well-being can quickly be impacted by changing weather. The Johnny Adams Law Firm wants you to remain safe and be weather alert with the Rich Thomas Weather Network.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Our warming trend continues. Our storm-free pattern continues with a spectacular weekend forecast for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Today, another warm day with a high around 85. Good bit of sunshine. I have the rain chances under 20%, so very tiny. Nights are mild. Overnight low tonight down to about 61. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather continues. Lots of sunshine. Highs in the middle 80s right on through the upcoming weekend. A great forecast on the Gulf Coast beaches with highs in the 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
The Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. After weeks of delays, the Alabama Public Safety Committee voted Wednesday to advance legislation that would help protect the state from illegal immigrant crime. House Bill 376, also known as the Laken-Riley Act, would bolster the ability of Alabama law enforcement agencies to further enforce immigration law. A Georgia woman is dead following a Wednesday morning crash on I-85 in Macon County. 45-year-old Carrie Chambers' car left the road around 5:30 a.m. near mile marker 34 and overturned. Chambers was transported to Baptist Medical Center East, where she later died. Theo Catetius, co-owner of the iconic Chris's Hot Dogs in downtown Montgomery, has passed away. Chris's Hot Dogs is the oldest family-owned and operated restaurant in Montgomery, having opened its doors 107 years ago by Theo's father. No word on the cause of death at this time. Theo Catetius was 78 years old. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Come see how you can drive a new Lexus from Lexus of Montgomery today. Drive the new 2024 Lexus ES350, now only $353 a month. Or choose the new 2023 Lexus RZ450E for only $399 a month. You can drive a new Lexus today. Visit Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
VIN number RU177074, $4,995 to assign. VIN number PEP02044, $3,700 to assign. 36 months, 10K mile lease with approved credit plus tax, tag, title, duck fee.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program, but hold your horses because we have some guests here in the studio. Seriously, turn down the music, hippie. Like, do it sooner. Anyway, we have Roman and Kim. They're here to talk about, NAMI Walks. It's a great event coming up. How y'all doing today?
Great.
We're doing really great. Thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, thank y'all for being here. Now, let's tell folks about NAMI. It's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Just the kind of the basic 101 for folks.
So we're a grassroots organization, and we're an organization of family members, friends, and peers who know somebody or suffer with a mental illness, and we advocate for all those people to have a better life. That's pretty much in a little short term what we do. That's what we do.
So I'm sorry.
sorry. We also offer a lot of programs to help support families, and we have programs to help show people that, it's okay to not be okay, and this is how some people have dealt with mental illness and how they're thriving and moving forward. And so there's just a lot of programs out there also to help educate our community as well. So
well, and I'd imagine is it a slow burn in the sense that folks are coming around, less stigma around mental illness, that you can admit, hey, I need help, or somebody in the family needs help. Or I know folks for the longest time probably had the keep it in the family mentality. And I know NAMI's been around now for several years. Would you say that there's been improvement in sort of that recognition, people being cognizant of this?
I definitely would, especially I'm 36 years old. I don't know how old you are, Joe, 35. And, back when we were younger, that was just kind of something that got kept in the family. That wasn't anything you really talked about. And now I do feel like there is less of a stigma around that. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to go and seek help. So I do feel like that it is a lot easier to talk about now. And, 1 in 5 people here in Alabama are affected by mental illness. So it could be, there's 4 of us in this room right now,
Well, and it could be from schizophrenia to depression to, I'd imagine, heavy drug abuse and addiction can lead to mental health issues.
ADD, ADHD as well. All those.
Okay. And I think the best way to tackle this is more understanding easily, and also getting people together for a good cause.
Yeah, more understanding and more conversation. That's always been my big push with my mental health advocacy, is just communicating out stories and showing people they're not alone in what they're facing.
So there's a big event coming up here, and it's, tell us about it.
So it's our 5K Fun Walk. It is this Saturday, April 27th. And it's going to be at Lanark Park in Millbrook, Alabama on the nature trails. Registration is going to start about 8:45, and we'll be serving lunch at 11:30. It does not cost anything to attend this event or come and have lunch and have a bottle of water and walk. It does not cost anything. This is all taken care of by our sponsors and individuals. Quick shout out to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama for being one of our sponsors, as well as Nucor Steel. Alabama Power, and there's so many others I'm going to miss, but we really appreciate that. We wouldn't be able to put on an event like this with this much fun and stuff without these sponsors. And it's going to be kid friendly. We've got a bouncy house and an obstacle course that are going to be there as well. So anybody should come on out. You can go online, NAMIWalks.org/Alabama. Or you can even give me a call on my cell, 334-399-2044 to find out more. You can also just show up. Just when you get there, you just got to sign in and say you're here for the walk, and we'll take good care of you.
Well, amen. And it looks like, so show up 8:45. That's when registration gets going. Warm-ups. Y'all going to guide people through stretching and stuff?
So yes, we have a young lady that's a Zumba instructor, and she's going to come in, and we'll start warm-ups at about 9:45, and then we start the actual walk at 10 o'clock.
Okay, and then after the walk, lunch and music, food.
Lunch and music, and lunch is being provided by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines. John Mosley will be cooking, and everybody likes when he cooks. He does a good job.
Absolutely, he does a good job. That's a spread. So again, this is free of charge, and I'd imagine it's a great way for everybody to kind of get to know each other and just be in the same environment about this cause.
Absolutely, just great community outreach and fellowship at all of our events, but especially the walk.
Now, if somebody is suffering with mental health issues themselves, or they know somebody, how can they get in touch? What's the right way to go about that?
Well, it really depends on what they're dealing with. We do push out the suicide lifeline, which is 988, but sometimes people just want to talk or text someone, and you can text NAMI, NAMA, to 741-741, or you can find us online at NAMIAlabama.org and find a list of our programs and our classes and our support groups on there as well. So.
Okay. Well, I think this is a great opportunity, folks, and it's a fantastic organization. I think I remember doing interviews years ago with representatives, and I just to see y'all grow is a good thing and a much needed thing in this day and age, because we covered it. So much COVID has not helped so much, that whole era. Whether you're talking about crime or you see the amounts of substance abuse and mental health issues that people are having coming out of that isolation. And I almost feel like we're not fully back where we necessarily were before, that there's still a sort of polar, or atomization of people from one another.
And, you bring up the COVID thing. The one thing I will say about this COVID and the lockdown, the silver lining of that is we were forced to have to look at mental health issues because so many people were trapped in their homes and having issues, to where our country had to look and understand what was really going on. And I feel like that is the silver lining with COVID right there that did help us there.
Well, folks, again, you can, if you want to look at the details we were just explaining, NAMI, N-A-M-I, NAMIWalks.org/Alabama. That's NAMIWalks.org/Alabama this Saturday. Get there early, about 8:45. Get some of that stretching done. Stretching's important.
It is.
Yeah,
especially once you get over 30, I've learned.
Right. And then, men are like, I just need to lift weight. They're like, no, man.
No, you got to stretch.
You can stretch.
So thank you all both. Have we left anything out here before I let you go?
Thanks.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Well, great seeing you, Roman. Great seeing you, Kim.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Joey. We appreciate it.
And more news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Selling a home in the River region in this market takes some planning and preparation to be successful. Here are some steps to take to get your home sold fast. Remember the 5 Ps. Prepare the home, fresh coat of paint inside and out, and complete any repairs needed. Professionally clean the home. A deep cleaning of floors, cabinets, windows, and blinds will leave a great impression for future buyers. Provide a home warranty for the buyer to give the buyer peace of mind after the closing. Provide a closing cost allowance for the buyer to help them be able to afford your home. Price your home to sell, not sit. A comparative market analysis from a local realtor will demonstrate what other properties have sold for in your neighborhood. Well-priced homes sell faster with less hassle. Houses are selling fast and sellers are getting top dollar. For all the answers, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
Medical Outreach Ministries is a free healthcare clinic providing primary and specialty care for uninsured low-income adults in our area. MOM sees almost 1,000 patients annually who are attended to by volunteers, including physicians, nurses, and pharmacists. please call 334-281-8008 or visit momclinic.org to learn how you might qualify for our services, volunteer, or donate to this vital community service.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. Yeah, I get why Scott calls you Big Al now.
I do. It looks like Joe Dirt mullet. It's bad, Joey.
No, it looks good. Looks good. You look fine.
I'm not used to being on camera.
I know. This is what I mean. Just
this is stressful.
relax. Let's go to, well, actually, before we go to Soldier Boy, what brought you here to Montgomery today?
Oh, Lord. You know what? This is a good story, actually. And it's kind of a long story, so if you want to go to Soldier Boy, I won't be offended.
Okay.
But, so we've been working on two bills, and I say we, every parent around the house, because that's where we live, in the kitchen. All the wives and the moms, we just spend our days in the kitchen. Right, Joey?
Right. Yeah, that's where the clock is.
Okay. On the stove.
Right.
You know that joke?
Oh, yeah, I know all those jokes.
That's so funny. Okay.
Right.
So there's two bills that we've kind of been working. House Bill 130, which expanded the ban on gender identity and sexual orientation discussions from kindergarten through 5th grade to kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
And it also added in an amendment that would ban the display of any sexual orientation, gender identity flags, insignia in the classrooms.
Mm.
And then House Bill, that was carried by Mac Butler, and then House Bill 385, carried by Arnold Mooney. What most people in Alabama, I didn't know, the obscenity laws, you can't take a toddler to a strip club.
Right.
Okay. And you can't even take a 10-year-old to an NC-17 movie.
Right.
Okay. So we have basic laws
right.
that keep obscene material out of children's view. Well, those laws never applied to libraries. Yeah, I don't know. I guess because libraries back in the day used to be pretty, like you'd go read like Huck Finn or To Kill a Mockingbird.
Hmm.
Oh wait, those books are gone now. Anyway, yeah, you can't even read those. Those are so bad. But yeah, for some reason, our obscenity laws never applied to our school libraries or our public libraries. So House Bill 385 just extended that. Now, it also put in some consequences, because like we talked about, people don't change unless there are consequences. So,
Right.
so say a book is caught in or seen in a public library that is obscene. A patron of the library can put in a formal written kind of, we have a complaint. And maybe you send it in and you're like, can you take a look at this book? I don't think it's supposed to be there. They have 7 days to remove it. If it's removed, we're good. But if it keeps happening, it goes up to, I think, from a Class C misdemeanor to a Class A misdemeanor. So it kind of works up. These two bills kind of came out late, and people were thinking that it just wouldn't happen. We're coming up the end of session. Well, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, well, I'm going to try a new tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to the Speaker of the House, who...
Nathaniel
Ledbetter.
Yeah.
And
Keep going, Joe Dirt.
Okay, sorry. I just got a glimpse of myself because you made me big on the screen, and now I do. I saw Joe Dirt. Anyway, because I do think, even as parents, we don't always know what's going on in our school, in our classrooms, in our libraries. So I'm like, let's just see. Maybe some of the leadership at the House really doesn't know what we're dealing with in our school libraries and our public libraries. So I sent him an email and I sent him a document that I put together that just had examples from around the state. I'll show it to you during the break. It's traumatizing.
Okay.
And these are books that are for like 12-year-olds. But I sent it to him. And the next morning, I actually got a call from the speaker. And he was like, Allison, I just want to tell you, thank you for sending that to me. I had no idea. And he said, we're going to try and work and get some of these bills through. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of hard on the speaker because there's some things like we will never agree on gambling.
Right.
And that's okay. I didn't love the way IVF was handled. But that's okay. We can disagree and still be friends, but I appreciated him calling me and I appreciated him saying, we're going to work on this. Everybody kind of thought the bills were dead.
Right.
Lo and behold, last Tuesday, the speaker gets the first 2 picks for the special order calendar of that legislative day. House Bill 130 is bill number 2.
Oh, wow.
So the speaker picked House Bill 130.
Well, from what you just told me, it's a great example of, because we yell and scream on radio and everybody can get upset at politicians, but you took the time to put together something to persuade the Speaker of the House here in Alabama, and he persuaded him. And he was grateful for it. And despite differences, and this seems common sense to me, like obscenity laws, we could have a whole discussion about national ones that used to be applied to adults, but especially with children.
Right.
Like, this is just common sense, and I don't understand why libraries would be exempt necessarily. So I'm glad that this is moving forward.
Yeah, so the House Bill 130, which banned the discussion of gender identity in the classrooms, it passed the House last Tuesday. Well, yesterday, I look at the special order calendar, and lo and behold, House Bill 385 is the second bill. So the Speaker picked the obscenity law bill, and I, despite our differences, and that's fine, I am very grateful to him because it passed the House this morning. I just came down to watch that and then, of course, come hang out with you.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was a good reminder to me there's a lot happening in Alabama. There's a lot happening in the world right now. And it's hard and you and I are plugged in people. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Oh, it is.
And so don't assume, I think it's easy to assume that people understand what's happening and they know the depth of things, but a lot of times you just can't. And I think seeing that and kind of you have to look real closely and read some of the words. It is devastating what they are putting in front of our children. So anyway, shout out to Nathaniel Ledbetter, Speaker of the House. I am really grateful. And so that's why I'm here and why you're lucky enough to have Joe Dirt in your studio today.
You look fine today. You look nice today.
I don't
you
know.
look lovely today. Stop it.
No, I'm good, but it does
Soldier
look like
Boy,
a mullet.
Thank you for being patient. How you doing, Soldier Boy?
Hey, it is important, Soldier Boy. You know that. We're saving our kids.
Wake up.
Hey, I'm awake. Hey, first of all, Joey told me that that they must have stole the stars from the heavens and put them in your eyes.
Oh my goodness. I've been in here this whole time and I know he didn't say that. So that's coming from you, Soldier Boy.
I'm trying to give Joey some street cred. I'm trying to teach him.
No, I've been doing sauna workouts and
Hey, let me ask you a question. Did it work?
Yeah, that's why. Yes, I've tried it as just a thing, and then I'm like, "Dadgum, I feel great."
No, he's like glowing.
Okay.
You are.
2 things I want to talk about. I want to stay on point because you know me, I get off point real easy. I have my talking points, PowerPoint presentation. First one is I'm going to talk about the federal. Did you hear the news about the Secret Service, the guy that flipped out?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
He was on the detail with that cackling. I can't really blame him. I would have gone and I probably would have tripped out earlier. And they had to wrestle him down. They had to handcuff him.
I think it was a woman.
Was it?
Yeah.
That explains it.
No, it doesn't, man. Everybody's going crazy if they work for Kamala. How many people have quit on her staff?
Well, right, but
Well,
Yeah, no, here, I've got it. Secret Surface scuffle.
not Silver Surfer.
Secret Service agent who attacked senior officer is a white female named Michelle Hertzeg. She had a total break.
Hot baby.
Yeah, she's mumbling to herself, hiding behind curtains, throwing menstrual pads. I don't even know what those are.
No way.
Wait a second. There was another story that had to do with that. Do you remember?
Wait a minute. Were they new or used or unused?
Hey, I don't know.
I'm just asking.
Well, if it was multiple,
boxes at me.
surely unused.
I would hope so.
Wait, so what happened? Was she drunk?
Here, let me read the story real quick, Soldier Boy. An incident involving a physical attack by a female Secret Service agent tasked with protecting Kamala Harris is raising questions about whether the agency had thoroughly vetted her during her hiring and whether the ongoing push to increase the number of women in the service and boost overall workforce staff played a role in her selection. The DEI strikes again. The Secret Service agent assigned to Vice President Harris was removed from her duties Wednesday after physically attacking the commanding agent in charge and other agents trying to subdue her. This is according to Secret Service spokesman. Several sources in the community identified the agent who attacked as Michelle Hertzeg. The altercation occurred about 9 a.m. at Joint Base Andrews. And the call signs of the Boeing aircraft used by the president and vice president, Air Force One and Air Force Two, were right there. Thank you for all this extra information, this stupid report. Harris was at the Naval Observatory at the time of the incident, did not delay her travel. Hertzeg showed up at the terminal and began acting erratically, grabbing another senior agent's personal phone and deleting applications on it.
That'll show him.
Wow.
The other agent, a shift leader, was able to recover his phone and then acted as if nothing happened. But Hertzeg's bizarre behavior didn't stop. She then began mumbling to herself, hid behind curtains, and started throwing items, including menstrual pads, at an agent, telling him that he would need them later to save another agent. Wow. And telling her peers that they were, quote, going to burn in hell and needed to listen to God.
Hey, did she twerk?
Oh, my God.
Did she what?
Did she start to twerk and Kamala have a cook-off, baby?
She also screamed at the special agent in charge, rattling off names of female officers on the vice president's detail and claiming they would show up and help her and allow her to continue working. At that point, other agents on the scene believe Hertzeg was suffering from a mental lapse.
Make a breakdown.
That sounds like it. Wow.
Well, no, like you were Joey, you were right. It's a DII hire. She's probably a lesbian, devil worshiper, voted for Biden. Yeah, she marked all the boxes off except crazy.
Well, she then chest bumped and shoved his superior and tackled him and punched him.
Was it underwire or not underwire?
The agents involved and restrained her, and they were especially concerned since she still had her gun in the holster.
Oh.
What in the world?
That's hot.
You need to
That's hot, Joey.
You need to calm down.
That's like the lady on the airplane that started yelling that the guy in the hoodie wasn't real.
Yeah.
You remember her?
Yeah, she's a smoke show, though, now.
Yeah, she's doing like ultra-right beer
I
ads
know.
now.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of guys when that clip came out go, I can fix her.
Joey, let me talk about my second thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I went yesterday. He used to work at City Hall, right? He worked for the city.
Did Parks and Rec 2 summers, yeah.
Okay.
Stop it.
And I worked at 25 Washington and City Hall for a while, too, okay? And I remember those days. You just walk in, you go to work, blah, blah, blah. Well, I had to go. I went by there yesterday to take care of some personal business. And there's 2 armed guards there at the front. And there's like this 12-foot sign by 5 feet wide of things you can and cannot bring and what's going to happen to you when you sign in. And I was like, the guy said, I remember the days just feel just to walk in. He said, you feel okay, sir? And I said, I just feel like I've been stripped of my constitutional rights, my liberties, and my freedoms. I was like, you've got to be kidding. This is a public building.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give up my keys. I have to stow everything that's metal in this box and go through and everything. And I said to myself, it gets to a point. That's why I hate about the Patriot Act so much. We've given up our freedoms and our liberties for the safety. Oh, because there's a threat out there. There's been a threat all our lives since the beginning of my
a lot of this changed after Jack Kennedy is shot. Because do you remember the clips of him arriving there in Dallas, and he's greeted by a huge crowd on the tarmac, and he's like mingling with folks, and it used to be presidents. It was the people's house, the White House. You could go right on in, and now
I understand that.
Now there are a lot of crazy people. Even got Secret Service agents now a threat.
Well, but Joey, there's crazy people that go into Walmart. We're going to do strip search them too to make me feel safe.
No, I agree with you on the liberties front. I'm just saying the amount of security around public leaders suggests something unhealthy in our society.
Have you seen the Southern Property Law Center? Have you ever driven by there before?
I've driven by there before, yeah.
Okay. And you see they got blast walls.
Oh, yeah,
like
man.
we had in Iraq, okay?
Yeah, well, I'll put it this way. They smear a lot of people, but they also go after some pretty bad dudes. So I get the security.
So here's my point. If I consider myself a person on the right, conservative, okay? But I am not ultra far right to a point where I'm going to give up my liberties and everything and live in a police state, okay? Not to that point. I am not going to give that up, And sometimes I think people set up false narratives and environments to justify having that power over you. Well,
yes.
You know what? I'd rather not feel safe. Let me take care of myself.
Well, point well made. I appreciate it, Soldier Boy. Got other calls rolling in here.
Oh, because I called, that's why.
Yeah. You hung the stars in the moon for me, man. Thank you.
No, that was my line.
Oh, dadgummit.
That was for her, not you, Joey.
Dadgummit. Nobody likes me. Thank you, Soldier Boy.
Bye, Soldier Boy.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hola.
Hey, Eric.
Oh, shoot. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
We can do Beavis and Butthead.
I'm corn.
Yeah, no, stop eating the sugar.
TB. My bungholio.
Goodness gracious.
Joey's like, please.
I do what I do to shows. This is what I do to shows.
You make them so sophisticated.
What's on your mind today, Eric?
What were y'all just talking about?
Crazy women.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I know what that lady was doing. She saw that meme on TikTok where that dude put on his battle kit and his wife was in there raising hell, and he opened up a box of tampons and threw them in there like a hand grenade.
Joey, you can laugh. That's funny.
No, it's just I'm laughing on the inside.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not. It's like this jackass.
That's
anyway. They do assault our liberties.
Yeah.
And it's just what else do you do? What is it like to be scared by the people protecting you? Isn't there some movies based on that?
Well, and this is always the government's justification. We might be bad, but the guys over them hills there that we need to protect you against, they're worse.
Right. And we just need your money, your lives, your children's lives, your children's futures to do it.
Right.
So that our futures can be successful and we can propagate the world because we're smarter than y'all. Right. You might be smarter than me, but you put me and you side by side out in the real world and where lawyers ain't going to help you and your pronouns ain't going to help you, it ain't going to go well for one of us. And it might be me, but I'm just saying, where reality meets your delusions, that's a pretty rough cross current right there.
Oh, I think a lot of us are going to have to deal with reality here before too long.
Well, the sad thing is you're sitting back watching, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Like, no.
Right. And I'm just reading more on this lady's past, the Secret Service agent. What a mess.
But really, what happened? Like, did demons take over in her body? Because, that's bizarro.
Well, while serving in the Dallas police force, this woman and another officer shot an armed man while he sat in a parked car. The officers were, according to the department, firing in self-defense because the man who had previously been convicted of sexually assaulting a child was brandishing a weapon. She also had filed a discrimination lawsuit saying she was discriminated against for being a woman. So it doesn't look like, I don't know, you have to go through a pretty intense psychological profile if you're going to be a Secret Service agent.
That's true.
And this seems like unhinged behavior for, yeah.
How is it that we know that she identifies as a woman if we can't identify what a woman is? Now, how do you get to claim that? How do you get to file lawsuits against that? We thought she was a man. My bad. Was there a different standard?
Yeah, but what man's carrying around menstrual pads?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of music he's got.
Right.
She did chest bump that guy.
Right. This is an insane story.
I mean, she might be a man. She's a dude.
Maybe she identifies as a man.
And she really snapped, apparently, when the superior officer said, "You're relieved from your assignment for today." And she went nuts.
You can't relieve me.
So she went and hid behind a curtain and started throwing pads and deleting apps.
They've got wings.
That's the weirdest part.
Oh, here are some photos. I don't know. I don't know if this photo is.
Does she look crazy? Does she look like a dude? Uh-oh.
She's got some pretty intense features.
You can tell by the eyes. Oh, she got crazy eyes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No. Well,
Bless it. She needs somebody to love her.
No. Gotta be careful.
Chicks
gotta be careful when you get it. You gotta hand them a knife.
A machete.
Whip out that loaf of bread. Yeah, I whip out that loaf of bread and you got that machete. I'm just gonna get a big ham sandwich.
Where's that mayonnaise?
Okay, all right.
Make a sandwich. Joey doesn't get our humor.
No, I get it.
Oh, he gets it. He's just trying to be respectful for you. If that was Eddie, he'd be dying. But,
yeah, I'm trying to be on my best behavior.
Eddie will be back tomorrow?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't come
was
back.
he playing realtor?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I appreciate it, Eric.
All right, y'all. Adios.
Later. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. Well, they're ready to help you with all your plumbing issues. It could be, you got an everyday one, like a clogged drain, low water pressure. Could be something that's developed over time, like a tree root invasion. Maybe even have a gas line leak. Or, of course, any leaking pipe that's waterlogging, say that ceiling or the floor, or maybe even your backyard. Cole Plumbing has this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to get in there and solve the problem. It means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in their yard. Again, no, with precision and expertise, they can solve that problem. And maybe you don't really have a problem other than you want to upgrade. Say you want a tankless water heater system. Or maybe you want to get real fancy with like a Japanese toilet or bidet. Could be you're getting up there in age and you want a taller toilet.
I want a bidet.
You want a bidet?
My grandmother had bidets.
Cole Plumbing can help you.
I'm going to look them up.
And look up the Japanese toilets too. It's like a bidet on steroids.
They talk to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Cole Plumbing can help you with all these plumbing needs, folks. 279-8919. That's 279-8919. Call them to book an appointment today. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
The grass is starting to grow, and you need to mow right now with 0% for 42 months. Retail financing on new Hustler zero-turn mowers. That's right. Qualified buyers can enjoy 0% for 42 months on qualifying Hustler zero-turn mowers. Come into Diesel Ace Hardware and get that Hustler Turf zero-turn lawnmower you've been dreaming of. They're located on US 31 North, just off the Pine Level exit. Qualified buyers with minimum purchase. Other restrictions apply. See dealer for complete details.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Our warming trend continues. Our storm-free pattern continues with a spectacular weekend forecast for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Today, another warm day with a high around 85. Good bit of sunshine. I have the rain chances under 20%, so very tiny. Nights are mild. Overnight low tonight down to about 61. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather continues. Lots of sunshine. Highs in the middle 80s right on through the upcoming weekend. A great forecast on the Gulf Coast beaches with highs in the 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The Z700 series is the star of Kubota's line of zero-turn mowers, and our special spring pricing makes it easier than ever to take one home today. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon, or as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. I'm Joey. For those of you just tuning in on the X platform or on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, it's just a humble little talk show out of Montgomery, Alabama, where we talk about all sorts of things. I have a special guest today. Her name is Allison Sinclair.
AKA Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Look at that hair.
You like the mullet?
Yeah, why is the sky blue?
You know, you're the one that called me that. It came to you a little too quickly, actually.
Yeah, well, when you started getting all self-conscious about how I look on camera, it's like, well, I'm just going to lean into it.
Yeah, but if it didn't look like Joe Dirt, you wouldn't have said it, which means it
Well,
looks
you,
like
you
Joe
said
Dirt.
mullet, and I
Okay,
associated
fair
mullet
enough.
with Joe Dirt.
And it's blonde.
Right, I could have called you Kid Rock.
Joey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked him till he backed out on Tranny Light.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Everybody.
That was so disappointing.
And one of my favorite comedians, Shane Gillis, is about to drinking the stuff.
No way.
I love Shane Gillis, but not the Bud Light thing. I think it played itself out, sadly.
I mean, they lost a ton of money.
Well, and I noticed, I did feel bad for the local guys. Like, I would see, near my gym is a gas station that I kind of never go to. But you would occasionally see a Bud Light rep, like in the Bud Light truck or car out there. And I swear, one day when all this was going on, he looked like a sad, lost puppy.
Did you go knock on the window and say, "Are you okay?"
No, I'm like, you get away from me with your fruity beer. That's what I said.
You know what is that? So I have a friend who knows August Bush, the grandson, whatever. And he said that they're actually a conservative, like they're not for that kind of stuff. And you remember Trump came out and was like, hey.
Well, somebody in the marketing department. Well, this is happening with all of corporate America. Like, they're such big institutions that a few folks get in HR, marketing, and these other positions, and they run the messaging.
But you got to know what's happening in your company.
I agree with you.
Or your school. Or your library.
Now, have you ever considered cannibalism?
That's a really, really odd question that I have never been asked. By consider, do you mean have I ever thought about it?
Yeah, like, have you ever, thought of a scenario that you would be in where you're like, I'm really, really hungry?
You know what? Okay, so my dad that left me when I was 3, remember we talked about that earlier?
Yeah, what a prince of a man.
He's actually super cool. He's like the fun uncle.
Yeah, but you're saying super cool, fun uncle.
Yeah, he wasn't like a dad.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, he lives out in Truckee, California. And Truckee is right by Donner Pass.
Ooh.
So every time growing up, I would go to Truckee, we'd go to Donner Park and we'd look at the Donner Party statue, and it set up high where you could see how deep the snow was. And then it had this little family on top. And then you just envision them eating each other. So actually, every time I go to Truckee, I contemplate, what would you do if you were up on Donner Pass? Because we drive on it every time.
So you have thought about it.
So I have thought about it.
Mm.
And in my brainicles of sanity, I'm thinking I couldn't do it, but I don't know.
Now, I would be like, well, we're already miserable. Eat me. I'm done.
Would you just volunteer?
Yeah, you can eat me.
But you've been working out.
Yeah.
You're don't volunteer. You could make it. You could
What?
survive.
No, we need to go. Like, we have to really think strategically. Like, let's get the fattest person. So
you
we can
asked
stretch
me if
this
I
out.
ever considered it, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if you shouldn't be the first one.
Right. I mean, it's an awful, filthy thing. Nobody should do it. And there is the story in front of me. U.S. President Joe Biden's apparent suggestion his uncle may have been eaten by cannibals during World War II has sparked uproar in Papua New Guinea, casting a shadow on U.S. relations with the Pacific nation and meeting a firm response from its leader.
Yeah, he went on the record and said he was extremely offended that they don't eat people there.
Right. Yeah. I guess James Marape. I was about to say James Marape, but that's how it's spelled. But James Marape.
Nice save.
Yeah, turned it into Sean Connery on Celebrity Jeopardy. But conceded that Biden may have misspoken. I don't think he did. I think Biden really believes his uncle was eaten by cannibals in Papua New Guinea. But he pushed back against the characterization of cannibalism in the Pacific island nation, which encompassed the eastern half of New Guinea and more than 600 nearby islands. President Biden's remarks may have been a slip of the tongue. However, my country does not deserve to be labeled as such, and if he shows up here, we're going to eat him. No, I added that part.
Oh. Okay.
While cannibalism was documented among remote tribes in the region in the mid-20th century, Papua New Guinea has struggled to shed stereotypes in more recent decades, and Biden's comments were met with criticism inside the country. Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't he have just gone with Haiti, where we know it's true?
Yeah, that's definitely going
So,
on.
like, I don't know why he had to throw Papua New Guinea under the bus, but
All right. Well, what, barbecue's still running the show down there?
did you see their president just resigned?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I don't know who's running the country.
You know, and I think we both believe in redemption and forgiveness, especially through Jesus.
Yeah.
But there's this old Vice documentary that still sticks in my mind, where
Okay.
this is in Liberia.
Okay.
And I'm reminded of it because Haiti, very similar situation, and the guy was called literally General Butt Naked because he would fight naked. He had child soldiers.
Who wants
I think
to
there are
see that?
accusations of cannibals. Anyway, at one day after doing awful, atrocious, like just crimes against humanity, the worst of the worst, he said he had a dream, and it was Jesus who said, "Why are you acting like a slave?" And he's now become a pastor, and he's trying to save people in Liberia. And as you're watching this story and you see him in church and stuff, like talking to folks, sharing the gospel, there's a part of me that's still like, I don't trust that guy. Like, I'm sorry.
Like fava beans, like
Right.
we're
Yeah, like, I don't trust that guy one bit. So it just makes you wonder. There are
But
times where I
that's
wonder.
actually a great story. Unless it's just all a lie and he's
Yeah.
trying to get close to the unsuspecting people.
Right. It could be a great story if he's actually redeemed. Yes.
It's possible.
But they're just, I guess
I don't know.
anybody could.
Once you've crossed the line to eating people, that might.
Yeah.
No, nothing's too big for Jesus.
Yeah. It's just, I'm watching it
What are
going,
your thoughts? Like, would you eat someone?
No.
Even if you were dying?
No,
And
maybe.
like you're in the Donner Party, like I said.
No, I'd said it already. Like, I'd volunteer.
That just doesn't answer if you would eat someone. Okay.
I mean, I'm not I've never been starving, so I don't know. I don't think it would be a good road to go down. I'll
Yeah, I
put it
don't
that
think you
way.
want to start.
Like, do you want to be alive after doing that? Like, us being who we are, modern people, like, we're used to, life as we live it. After you go through something like that, do you even want to keep on living? Like, it's pretty
I
bad.
don't know, but I'm thinking about what happened to the guy. Remember the guy in California? Of course, it was in California that picked up the leg. The guy that got hit by the train. Do you not remember this? This was like 2 weeks ago.
No, I
So
missed this
somebody, a homeless guy, got hit by a train.
one. I need to look into your TikTok feed. Your algorithm's
Yeah,
really
I'm getting
funky.
some weird things.
Yeah.
No, okay. So one homeless guy got hit by a train, dead.
Hmm.
Then the other homeless guy is like, "Ooh, this looks cool," and goes over and the alive homeless guy is then seen walking down the sidewalk with the dead homeless guy's leg. And I think he got I swear I'm not making this up. I promise.
Yeah, and we're trying to
it
make
was on the internet.
We're trying to make light of this stuff, folks, but there are pockets of America where this is hell on earth. Where you're talking drugs, the homeless encampments, like there's stuff going on that's just unconscionable. And I'm sorry, it's not compassionate I've heard it called something like telescopic charity, where like all these associations will give to for the homeless. It's like, well, I don't have to go touch them or help them. I just give money and I feel good because I'm helping them, right? And there's a lot of that where some of these charities become almost self-perpetuating. They don't want to really solve the problem. They just want to act like they're solving the problem, and everybody gets rich in the process of pretending to solve this big issue. And it's all done in the name of compassion and humanitarian concerns.
And
but you're watching human misery, hell on earth right in front of you. And there are other nations that have figured this out. Like Japan's got huge cities and they're pretty orderly, pretty clean. You don't see crazy people on the streets. And I'm not saying go kill folks or even lock them up. Say put them somewhere where they can't be a danger to themselves and others.
Well, it goes back to the start of the show when we talked about this is a nuclear family. This is a culture. We got to get back to the truth of the gospel. Jesus saving some of these people, because when you separate a society from truth, it's done. Roman Empire, done. And we're headed down that. And this video that I know I saw, and I'm going to find it for you, it looked like some third world country, and it was probably Oakland, California. Very sad.
It is sad what's happening. And, things are going south, not in a good direction here in the South, especially here in Alabama. But thank God we ain't like some other parts of the country.
I think we still have a chance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I think there are a lot of good people here disagree on politics or people who are apolitical. I think the South has a unique culture that is a little bit more hospitable, and thus people are more taken care of. And that's why I think you see less of this stuff out there.
That's a good point.
We still have to be vigilant. But how about this? Let's hit another call. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, Ken Mullinax.
Hey, Ken. You ever thought of cannibalism?
Only when I look at a turkey or something like that, cannibalism. That's a silly ass question.
I know.
I took it seriously.
And you ask her that too. Golly. But anyway, I would remind you guys. You may have forgotten it was much speculated that Nelson Rockefeller's son was eaten by cannibals in New Guinea, late '60s, early '70s. Michael Rockefeller, and I had 3 uncles in the Pacific in World War II, and 2 of them one of them, Uncle Ray, who was in that area, said it was well known back then. Now, I'm sure a lot of things have changed since 1945, but New Guinea, I know it's not good PR for them, but they are well known in the past to have among the very last, hopefully the last cannibals in the world. I surely to God hope they're not still doing it, but I'll tell you what, I sure wouldn't go venturing into the heart of New Guinea without a bunch of people and a lot of firepower.
Well, and you got to wonder about like the Eurocoms guy, Ken, like the marketing campaign. Papua New Guinea, come visit. We stopped the cannibalism.
Right. Yeah. Come here and not get eaten.
Right.
But what's the difference? It's like Montgomery, Birmingham. You're going to get shot.
Well,
so like either way, you're dying.
There's a big difference.
Yeah,
big difference between
there is a
killing
difference.
somebody.
Well, I mean, you're dead.
And then devouring their body.
Ken's got a point.
Big difference. All right. Bye.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this? Hello?
Oh, man.
Hello?
Hey, you're on there. Who's this?
Oh, my God. I feel like an idiot.
Hey.
Joey, this is Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Who could it be? It's Miss Allison. Always a pleasure.
Hi, Sam from Pike County.
Now, don't get nervous, Sam.
Oh, no. I'm very relaxed. I'm with Allison.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It is a
Abs
pleasure.
isn't here. That's when he gets nervous.
Oh, he likes her.
He loves Amy
Well,
Beth.
it's kind of it's a little radio crush, but we're dealing with it. I'm doing therapy and stuff.
It's just a little crush.
Why in the world could I have called? Oh man, that's one of my favorite stories from long ago. Is reading. It was in Time magazine. Come on, man. I was like a teenager when I heard about the Rockefellers in New Guinea. And Rockefeller had a redheaded son, and he was all lefty educated up, and him and a bunch of buddies, Peace Corps out, they went over, and they tried to, I don't know what they were doing with this tribe, but the locals treasured his red head. They cut off his head and shrunk it. Yes, ma'am, they did. And Rockefeller, he sent over a mercenary group, and anyways, the whole village got wiped out. Yeah, man, it was just they were so proud. They come running out with his shrunken head, and it's just tragic all
Wait,
around.
this is real?
Yes, ma'am. Happened in the 70s. Access Time magazine. It'll be in their archives.
I guess the moral to that story there is be careful who you eat.
You dye your hair before you go to New Guinea.
Right.
Well, you know what? There
Just
you go.
don't come.
They didn't understand the cultural values and norms of where they were, and it cost them a lot. Man, you know what? I'm an American. I've never truly been hungry. Sure has been nice. I've been thirsty a couple times, Joey, in my world travels. But I believe if the proteins start to get short, then there'd be people chopping up at each other left and right. And that's what's so sad is it looks like our government is trying to force us in that direction. We will see.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Sam. I really do. Great to hear from you, man.
Yeah, man. I called up and say, hey, bye-bye.
Good to hear from you, dude. And by the way, we'll do it in the next hour here, Allison. But you know that Piers Morgan segment?
Yeah.
It's not a joke. Like, apparently, I went to Piers Morgan's Twitter account. This is a real interview he did.
Well, she's been in the news before.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to find.
Yeah. We'll look it up.
Our Twitter feeds are different because I got you. I got your backup on this one.
Man,
You didn't
I thought
see it.
mine was lacking wholesomeness. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Ole Miss.
Hey, Ole Miss. How you doing?
Pretty good. I've asked that question, and with several people discussed it. Imagine this: you're a parent and you have children, and your options are let them starve to death or cannibalize a corpse. What's your question? There's no question. Your kids, you're not gonna let them die.
Well, that it's awful.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Well, no, I'm thinking of scenes from the Holodomor when the Ukrainians were starved out by Stalin, and that's exactly what happened. Parents would give up their lives to feed their kids.
Yep. And you can be moral and on your high horse, but when it comes to kids, there's no question. It's a barbecue.
I appreciate the honesty. Yeah. I mean, because I guess you could try the crickets and the worms like they're telling us to. And
I had 3 sons, and they all averaged 6'3", 300 pounds. Worms and dirt, and now unless you want to run around like the little kids in the third world with the big round bowling ball bellies that are dying slowly, you're faced with a decision. I mean, I'm sure you have a nephew or a child of your own. I mean, to me, there's no question.
Well, and don't underestimate what people will do when they're truly desperate. It's and that's why we do have to thank God for the life we've been able to lead so far. Even folks who have it rough in America, it's better than a lot of human history. I appreciate it, Ole Miss. Thanks, sir.
Yep, y'all take care.
And actually, I don't know, looking at this without the sound on, I don't want to play this Piers Morgan interview. Like, I'm kind of mad that Piers...
with the Muppet?
Yeah, I'm kind of mad that Piers did this. Like, this woman is clearly disturbed. Why are you putting her in front of millions?
I think she's an actress. Like, maybe that's the Secret Service agent.
Well, she's
Maybe
known as
that's her
Crackhead
sister.
Barney.
Barney?
Yeah, and when she gets up at one point and says, "Look at my body, look at this, look at me," and she's almost got like medical gauze over her breasts, but with her top pulled up, so there's kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, so I think she's like a paid actor. I don't think that's real. I'm going to look up the other clip that I saw. She was in like rainbow stuff.
Yeah, well, Piers has interviewed her, and she told him to free Palestine. Yeah, I don't mind Piers Morgan, but sometimes I think his tabloid days come back.
But you know what I love about this whole situation where you're accosting Alec Baldwin, telling him to say free Palestine? Those are the people that he votes with. Those are the people that he joined hands with to put this madness in office. And I love how right now they're like eating their own. And I'm totally, wait, that's bad on the hills of the cannibalism.
And on that disturbing note, we have to hit this break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The nation's economy slowed sharply last quarter to a 1.6% annual pace. in the face of high interest rates, but consumers, the main driver of economic growth, kept spending at a solid pace. The gross domestic product, the nation's total output of goods and services, decelerated from its brisk 3.4% growth rate in the final 3 months of 2023. Russia vetoing a UN resolution sponsored by the U.S. and Japan, calling on all nations to prevent a dangerous nuclear arms race in outer space. The resolution would have called on all countries not to develop or deploy nuclear arms or other weapons of mass destruction in space. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 412 points, the Nasdaq losing 140. This is SRN News.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. It's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text faith to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Hi, everybody. Our warming trend continues. Our storm-free pattern continues with a spectacular weekend forecast for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Today, another warm day with a high around 85. Good bit of sunshine. I have the rain chances under 20%, so very tiny. Nights are mild. Overnight low tonight down to about 61. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather continues. Lots of sunshine. Highs in the middle 80s right on through the upcoming weekend. A great forecast on the Gulf Coast beaches with highs in the 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
A bill has been passed out of the Alabama House Committee on Homeland Security after the bill in that committee was delayed on two separate occasions. The bill is HB 376, otherwise known as the Laken-Riley Act. It would allow for local and state law enforcement to enforce federal immigration and custom laws that include the detention and removal of illegal aliens, as well as checking on the immigration status of persons living here in the state. The bill heads to the full House for consideration. The bill's sponsor, State Representative Ernie Yarbrough, named the bill after the Georgia nursing student who was brutally murdered this past February by an illegal alien. 26-year-old Jose Ibarra of Venezuela abducted Laken-Riley and killed her while she was jogging on the UGA campus. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
Birmingham police have charged 5 people with exhibition driving and street racing. The arrests were made after the operation that was dubbed Night Rider was launched by police on the weekend of April 12th. Some of the suspects arrested also face additional charges of drug possession as well as receiving stolen property. Police also seized several vehicles, including 3 that were stolen. The mayor of Montgomery has been chosen to be president of the African American Mayors Association for the 2024 election year, as well as the start of Congress in 2025. Mayor Reed will be sworn into this new position today. Reed has been serving as the vice president of the organization. Reed says he will work with members nationwide to address issues of public safety, economic development, and health equity. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
Well, I'm here with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. Well, Dot, spring is here.
We're heading into spring, and I'm so glad. We've got some furniture coming in, some spring and summer furniture. It's not coming in too fast, but it's beginning to trickle in. You know, we're just busy, is all I can say, and I'm thankful for that.
It looks to me like you have a lot of items for outside.
We do. We've got the wrought iron furniture, patio things, and Booth 70 in the window had a swing, and it was just beautiful. I expect he'll have another one, too.
You know, there are a lot of treasures in Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall to be found.
Yes, if you don't see it here, you didn't need it anyway.
All right, give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday is 10 until 6, Saturday 9 until 6, and Sunday 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of News and Views in the afternoon. I'm not alone today, folks. Allison Sinclair is here.
I'm not alone.
yeah, 10cc. Yeah, that's a good song, actually.
Bless it.
Let's go to line one. I don't even know who this is. You're on there. Who's this?
This is East of the Rockies.
Hey,
How
East.
are you?
I'm good. Just bearing my soul off air.
Yeah, I know you are. And I what did Robin Williams ask or say? Two cannibals are eating a clown, and one says to the other, "Does this clown taste funny to you?" But look, 1819, Allison. I want to apologize first for not calling your show midday. That's my busiest part of the day, but I am listening.
I was going to say, I don't know you, and I'm a little upset.
Well, I am a big believer in terrestrial radio, and Blue Water Broadcasting, especially News Talk, is my favorite station. And so you guys are in my ear every day, and I know several of our regulars call in, but I just wanted to call and thank you for your hard work.
And you're east of the Rockies?
East of the Rockies.
Okay.
East of the Rockies.
And he's been calling since before I started here 12, 13 years ago.
No way.
And you also have some meme magic to you, sir. Anytime this guy sends me a meme in Messenger, I immediately put it up because I know it's going to go viral.
Well, I started listening to News Talk, back when it was an AM with Greg. When Greg first flew into town, that's where I grabbed that handle just as a gag because I was poking fun at the up all night guy that believes in Bigfoot and Hollow Earth and all that stuff, And he would always say, if you're east of the Rockies, call 1-800. And I thought, okay, that's my name. And I called the radio station. But anyway, 1819, let's talk about that for a minute. I understand that in Birmingham, Allison, that they arrested some people for exhibition driving. Is that right?
I think that was a while ago. Or are you talking recently?
Yeah, it was the report that was just on the air.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Joey and I were contemplating
I was
life.
burying myself.
Yeah, that seems to be the top initiative of the mayor. You know, we had speed bumps where our offices, they put speed bumps in. It was a huge deal. Speed bumps, speed bumps, speed bumps. And then one day we drove up and they were removing them all. I have no idea. I don't know what the waste of taxpayer funding was, but now they're driving recklessly again.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of inspired me, though, you know, that two things. One, infantile exhibitionism, when people go by with loud mufflers and they speed past you in residential areas, that's kind of the impression that I got when I heard the news report. But the other one was this, is that I am participating in audio exhibitionism here on the radio with you guys, and so I think it's a lot of fun. It's a new phenomenon here in Alabama, and 1819's taking point on it, so that's good.
I kind of like it, but I mean, people are dying and getting shot every day. I don't know why Birmingham. I don't know. That wouldn't be my top priority, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, might I suggest that there are people who have internalized video games. I'm not blaming the video game industry as such, but there's what do they call it, Joey? Where you steal cars and drive fast.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. There's kind of this thing where people have internalized it. Said, you know what? I want to live this, and they're kind of doing it. I mean, that's what I see. I still don't understand the four wheelers and the mini bikes riding around on state highways. If you've ever been involved in that, it's absolutely terrifying. Somebody's little teenager without a helmet's going to get hit, and that's going to be all she wrote. But yeah, I think the Grand Theft Auto phenomena has kind of grown up, and people are wanting to do that stuff.
Yeah, well, people follow a model, and sometimes your role models are some of those games you used to play all the time. Though I remember playing those games, you would have to kind of check yourself. Like, okay, I can't just run stoplights. Yeah, like you play it for hours, and yeah, and I think the deal is with violent video games or violent movie stuff, most folks are not going to act out what they see, but life does tend to imitate art, so we need to be careful about what sort of examples we're constantly putting out there. And honestly, when you look at a lot of entertainment, it's pretty depraved. I mean, I've watched it all, don't get me wrong, but it makes me wonder more and more the older I get, what the heck is going on with our society?
Yep. But fortunately, we have 1819 to help us stay on top of those things. And I'm not being gratuitous. I'm really thankful that it's a thing. You know, it's something that happens, and we support it. And so it's like, all right. The only thing I need is a hat, and I'll have it made.
Well, I appreciate the call, East.
Have a good one. Bye.
East of the Rockies, folks. And, you know, I appreciate 1819. They pretty much let me do whatever I want with my column, which I really do truly appreciate.
Yes, and I'm going to say it again. I say it every time I come on your show. And I think it's a compliment for me. I don't know if you take it this way.
Yeah.
But I think you are a better writer than you are a radio host. Which means you are like the best writer ever because you're so good at what you do in the chair here. But like you should write a book, or like, do you write poetry?
Yeah.
Like I can see you writing poetry or writing music or
both. Yeah.
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 But you don't share it with anyone?
No, sometimes it's a little dark.
But all the good poets are dark.
Yeah. I shared one with Brian. He's like, well, that's cool, man. Yeah.
He's never mind.
No, I think he liked it, but he was like, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's stuff like I essentially send it to him, stuff I don't send to our editors.
No, but you are a very good writer.
Thank you.
Have you written recently? Because I haven't seen your stuff.
Well, that's what keeps happening. Yeah, every Tuesday. It's been coming out.
Oh.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Well, we have so many more opinion writers.
No,
now.
It's great. It's great to see 1819 grow in the way they have, because it's not just, I love having a little space there, but seeing the reporting that's been done. Every Friday we now have Craig Monger on the show, And I think 1819 also is a measure of success is they're pissing off the right people.
Yeah, like my 21-year-old son says, because one day I was complaining about the death threats I was getting, like you should go kill yourself and take your family with you kind of thing.
See, I don't get stuff like that.
Oh, then you're not being extreme enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Connor says, well, Mom, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything. And I'm like, you know what? If you don't have haters, you need to step up your game.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything substantial.
Right.
So, Joey.
Okay, I'll step up my game.
Step it up. You need some haters.
Right.
Maybe not.
Well,
if your poetry's already dark.
Let me take a shot at it. You know what I'm tired of? All these fat lesbians when I go try to eat. That's what I'm tired of. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you with, that mortgage of yours. It could be you're looking to buy a home, and especially if you're a first-time home buyer, you need to go with Alabama Home Mortgage. You'll start with pre-approval all the way to closing day, and their pre-approval is truly worth it. A lot of folks could try to pre-approve you, but when somebody sees, a potential seller sees, oh, you went through Alabama Home Mortgage, we know you're golden. Well, that's why you got to work with Kim and Madeline. And again, they'll walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day. Are you okay, Allison? Are you going to be okay? And then, of course, they can help you with a great refinance deal there at Alabama Home Mortgage. And, let's be honest, credit card debt is continuing to balloon on top of folks. The average APR is almost 30%.
Said, let's be honest. Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Shut up, silly woman.
And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, they can help you unload that debt off your back. And that way, get yourself up in a much better financial position. Or maybe you're looking to take money out to reinvest in your family or your property. And if you're a veteran, you especially need to deal with Alabama Home Mortgage. They know the latest with the VA home loan programs. It's the best game in town. And you veterans, you earn this benefit through your service. So check them out today. You can always call Kim and Madeline there at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Fresh deals, fresh inventory. Spring savings have sprung at Toyota of Montgomery. And we have a fresh new inventory of the new Toyotas you've been looking for. Take that spring trip in style, comfort, safety, and peace of mind in our huge selection of trucks, SUVs, and sedans. Drive the new 2024 Camry LE and lease for $299 a month, or get low 3.99% APR financing. Spring out of your old car and into a new Toyota, and get up to $2,000 over book value for your trade. Or check out our fresh new inventory of certified pre-owned Toyotas that look, drive, and even smell brand new. Just don't wait. Spring offers end soon at Toyota of Montgomery. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. 3.99% APR financing for 36 months is $29.53 for 1,000 finance. MSRP $30,958. 12,000 miles per year for 36 months. Lease with 3638 due with finance. $0 security deposit with approved credit. Excessive wear and mileage may affect trade value. Plus tax, tag, title, and $9.95. Expires 4/30/24.
Hey, this is Prattville Mayor Bill Gillespie asking you to join in with the Jones Drugs on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the National Drug Take Back event. Come by the parking lot of the Prattville location and bring your unneeded or expired prescriptions. That's Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group. at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm Joey. This is Allison right across the desk from me.
Fixing my hair. You know, these headphones give you a bad mullet.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's why I usually
Ready to
wear a
go.
hat, but I'm letting the locks hang today.
Are you letting your hair grow again? Because I've seen it. Is it out in the lobby? Where's the
that's
photo
short
that
hair.
I've seen of you when you had like,
Probably in the Book of Faces or something.
I mean, you had long, like,
Yeah, I had very longer than your hair right
yeah,
now.
like halfway down your back hair.
Yeah, that was called depression.
I'm glad you're
It
doing.
was nasty. I didn't know how to take care of it. So
Is that when you started writing?
No, I've been writing since I was
Oh.
young. Been writing a good bit here. But no, and the 1819 job is kind of, it's an impetus, like it's a deadline. You got to do it. Don't procrastinate.
Does it keep you going? Like you're
Right.
like, but it's probably a good outlet for you too.
It is. It can be. Sometimes you want to talk about other things other than politics, but
I bet they'd let you talk about whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoy writing, but the
So
problem.
my next op-ed is going to be my top 5 Prince albums in no particular order.
I say go for it.
I don't think 1819 wants to run something like that.
Look, if Jim Ziegler can write what he writes, and they're like,
I like Jim.
No, what I'm saying, I love Jim. He's hysterical.
he's
like I can't believe Montgomery doesn't have him anymore, but he writes the most random little stories, and they'll be like trending on the website. And it's like the little things that you think nobody's going to pay attention to, but
Right.
I would love to know the top 5 Prince albums.
And well, it'd be my own personal favorite.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people would. I'm for it. I say Jeff Poor would be like, "This is good.
No, I don't.
Let's do it."
He'd probably be like, there's Joey with his fruity stuff again. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Again, 272-9228. A little behind schedule here. So this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. You know, Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for nearly 50 years, over 4+ decades. And they're the Goodson Group. Not only can they help you with buying or selling your property, they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. And then the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed here in the state. Well, because so many folks have gone on and graduated from Bo's school and found great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors is a great way to study up for a real estate license test, or just more knowledgeable private players. And it meets every Thursday night, reasonable fee. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. Now, going to Alabama news. Try to tighten it up here.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is my favorite. Scott says it's boring.
Alabama news? Well, some of it's boring.
He just wants to talk about Russia. It's always Russia and
Well,
Ukraine.
The Russia thing's pretty interesting.
No,
Don't
I
get me
love
started on
Alabama news. Let's stay there.
that. Okay, well, this has an international element. UAB SGA, I guess that's the University of Alabama, Birmingham, their Student Government Association, has a resolution out that condemns Israel for apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and quote-unquote plausible genocide. So this is after the governor of the state, Kay Ivey, I think it was last week or the week before, put out a declaration of the state of Alabama's support for the Jewish people and the folks of Israel. And now we have one university kind of pushing back. What is going on within the universities? Now, I already know where this is probably coming from. It's from the South African filing in the International Court of Justice, where they're saying, here are these quotes of Israeli commanders saying this, this, and this. This is not about just getting Hamas. This is about exterminating a people or kicking them out of the land. Looking at some of those quotes, I'm like, well, that seems out of context. Also, I think international law is kind of a joke at this point. Who's enforcing it? But I find this latest thing, and I've refrained from playing a lot of clips like back and forth. Got like Mike Johnson ready to go or Elon Omar. I think you are free to say what you want in this country and protest too. But if you're seizing property, if you're literally harassing a person, like blocking entry, getting up in somebody's face, you start to cross a line.
Right.
So if, say, the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, yesterday said, I kicked these students off campus, I think at the University of Texas, because of anti-Semitism. Like, that's the wrong thing to say, man. You kick them off for trespassing, for harassing, for threatening behavior.
Right.
Like, I don't like anti-Semitism, and I don't like is too small a word. I loathe it. I think like a lot of forms of bigotry and collectivism, it's just dumb at the end of the day, and a sort of dumbness that leads to terrible destruction. Just read a book every once in a while, folks. Like, seriously, grab a book that tells the history of the 20s and the 30s, not just in Germany, but in this country and all over the world. Or you can, read the good book itself. So, I to say I don't like anti-Semitism is one thing, but we cannot essentially arrest people for their speech.
Right.
And that's what I'm worried about. That there's been a move by some on the right now on this particular issue where it's like you're just playing into the same theme that we can criminalize speech because it's quote unquote hateful. Yes, there is speech that's hateful. It's protected under the First Amendment because if you start saying, well, here are the limitations on freedom of speech, you have to assume the worst possible people, in fact, maybe the people you even hate, will be the ones controlling you and saying, no, you're the one who's being hateful.
So how do you draw that line? Like when it comes to just purely speech, I think about this because it is difficult. I say things people don't like often.
Right.
That's why I get the death threats, which you should get more of.
Thank you for that, I guess.
Say it again. What?
No, I'm done. That was my one shot.
But do you draw the line when it comes to purely speech, not behavior, not actions? Like if you're calling for the killing of people? If you're calling for the harming of people, or is that covered as well?
Well, it can depend on context. Like if you are deliberately threatening people, material threats are against the law and are an exception to the First Amendment.
To like death to Israel.
Yeah, like go kill so-and-so. And death to Israel even would be, it's a terrible slogan. But it depends on where you're doing it. Like, okay. I think Nazis have the same right to go down the street and say hi or whatever. Like, I don't like it.
Right.
But there are certain lines crossed when you start seizing property. If you're not just saying death to Israel, but you're in like a Jewish student's face and it's like, right on the edge of violence.
Was it Colombia where they formed that line and wouldn't let the Jewish person go to class? Yes. And then, or if you're blocking traffic, that can't happen.
Right. And then some of this comes down to it's not public policy. These are private universities. Where's the administration riling this in? Like, is this what you want your university to be represented by? This is what happens on your college campus?
But if you're are they actually allowing free speech? I'm not talking about the actions, but like the tents. Can you leave the tents up? Or is that? But that's the thing. This is not organic. These are not coming from these college students.
There's definitely somebody's paying them.
Somebody's paying. If you looked like all those tents at Columbia, they all matched. It's not organic. This is people coming in from the outside. This is very coordinated. But do they have a right to be there? I don't know. The whole thing is very, very sticky and very uncomfortable. But for UAB, and that's where we started, UAB to put this out, I'm like, okay, what was October 7th? What were you just bringing flowers and balloons to Israel? No, I'm pretty sure you killed some people.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you were pretty savage.
Well, let me quote. This is directly from the resolution. And according to 1819, picked this up from Israel Insight. The resolution states from the Student Senate, the Student Senate condemns the ongoing occupation, settler colonialism, apartheid, ethnic cleansing of Palestinians since 1948, and plausible genocide of Gaza since 2023. And see, that's where you go, you could say, because, the more of the history I learn watching all these debates, Israel ain't blameless in this by any means. Like when Netanyahu did purposely prop up Hamas as a bulwark against the Palestinian Authority, so we could kind of split them up. And why was it? I think it was to stop any potential two-state solution. So again, hardcore realpolitik has been practiced here for decades through multiple leaders. I think there have been, say, columns within both sides that have never wanted peace.
Yeah.
And they're never going to give that up. But a good question to ask somebody if they're against Israel taking more of the Palestinian side is, what do you mean by occupied territory? And that statement there coming out of UAB sounds like all of Israel. Every aspect of the land there is occupied. It started all the way back in 1948. And to me, at this point, I don't buy that. And again, I think a lot of the international law framework we've built up, it's not going to enforce itself. And I think what we're doing, like in a lot of different parts of the world, is prolonging suffering and war. Instead of, okay, y'all want to fight. It's an awful thought to have. Go ahead and fight. If you want to have peace, like, let's get the Pope in here. We'll have a conference or something. But so many of the peace agreements, what kept happening, I learned this from Jared Kushner, was the point guy with Trump's administration on this, is every time there was a peace deal for decades, it would fall through pretty quickly, but the Palestinians would get more money and the Israelis would get more land. And so the incentive is do peace, then let it fall through. More money, more land.
Yeah.
And it's only festered since then. I don't know what the actual solution is, other than I'm at this point a well-wisher. Like, I don't think the United States should be involved in much of anything,
right,
including this fight. But if the reason Israel was created, the whole point of Zionism is that they could protect themselves if anybody tried to do anything again. So
but
Israel's
UAB,
going to do what they're going to do.
Back to home, UAB, SGA, Student Government Association, did they have the right to put out that kind of statement?
I think they do. To say that, I think they do.
It might not be wise.
Yeah, I don't
or
agree
smart,
with it. Yeah, I don't agree with
prudent,
the wording.
or true.
I think the student government there at UAB has the right to say awful things, or controversial things, or provocative things.
So what do you think UAB does? Anything?
I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of UAB policy and how that university works exactly. I'd imagine they're publicly funded, so there might be some strings attached based on Alabama law.
Who wrote that article?
This is
that a Greg?
Erica Thomas.
Oh,
wrote
Erica.
this up.
So Erica hopefully will reach out to UAB and ask for a comment and see if they make a public comment. That would be interesting to hear their take on it.
Yeah, let me see here if there is any. I'm not seeing
Nothing
anything yet. No.
I don't know.
But it's interesting when, like this, I talked to Jeff Poor about this yesterday. Like, I find it baffling that you see, we were, stuck on the Ukrainian flags. Like, you'll see a Ukrainian flag in some neighborhood, and it's baffling how nationalism is fungible, transferable. Like, you're still an American, but then you become a nationalist for Ukraine. I'm very much a critic of the war in Ukraine, the U.S. funding of it, but I've heard detractors of that policy who cross a line in my mind and they start sounding like Russian nationalists. And this has happened historically in war. People pick a side and it becomes about stumping for the team or the side. It's not just people that die in war, it's the truth. And I don't know. It makes me want to go, the United States needs to get our own house in order. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Tearing ourselves apart on our college campuses, in our everyday politics and rhetoric against one another. I think us trying to essentially dominate the whole world for good reasons, we're the indispensable nation spreading freedom and democracy, has led to us being torn apart here at home. And a lot of the tools used abroad have then also brought back home.
So that most recent vote on, do we have to go to a break? I don't even know what your breaks are.
Yeah, in a second.
The funding for Taiwan and Israel and Ukraine and the TikTok ban and all the things that were in that.
I would have voted no.
It kills me because we act like Ukraine and Israel both are like these shining beacons of hope and freedom and the way the world should be. And they're just not. So it goes back to what you're saying. Like, two things can be true at once. Russia and Ukraine are not great nations. There's some disturbing things that come out of both of them. I just, I was shocked to see the votes for that. Tuberville and Barrymore.
I thought it was great. I played Tuberville's speech yesterday. I read Senator Britt's statement they put out, giving the two different perspectives. I thought it represented the divide that's actually within the Republican Party right now. And, it's even with Israel. I'm like, wait, we sent them how many billions of dollars, like, for every year for how long? And now we just have to do another emergency thing. And it's not just Israel. It's NATO. It's so many other institutions where, why were we paying all this money if all of a sudden we have to do another injection of money? Like, where's the value over time built up? And I'm proud of folks like, I think even Gary Palmer voted against this time around.
And what is all this? I mean, we're how many $1 trillion in debt?
About 34,
Our
35.
weapon supply is totally depleted.
Yep.
And so if something were to happen on our land, on our front, we've got nothing. And we continue to just shovel money out. It's the most bizarre thing. Name one business that could be run like this. There's not one. And so when I see some of these votes come through, I'm like, man, the skiff works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
Like,
what are they showing them in the back room?
what and are they being blackmailed? Are they being lied to with like the threats that are really coming?
Who knows? And maybe there are real threats, and we just can't tell everybody. But I really don't buy it, especially with the expansion of FISA and how so many people flip.
So
Though,
sketchy.
Judge Napa joins me every Tuesday. He told me this months ago, I think talking to Professor Sachs, it went viral on Twitter or whatever, but about the JFK assassination. And Trump promised, and he promised in particular Judge Knapp and many other civil libertarians, that I'll release the full JFK files.
Right.
And Knapp got him on a private phone call. They got Trump. And he's like, Judge, or he said, Mr. President, why'd you change your mind? Judge, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't have released it either. Which makes you just want to see it even more.
You're doing your Trump hands
No,
again.
you have to, Stormy, if we could just keep this quiet.
It's actually, that's scary.
Hmm.
You have you practiced?
I just do the show every day.
Stormy. No, that was good.
I used to do a Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
We have way too many choices in this country, Allison. Is that your name, Allison? We have way too many countries in this country, and we also have way too many choices in this country.
You kind of sound like Gorbachev.
You go to a supermarket, and there's like 26 types of deodorant in there. You can go down to like the feminine hygiene aisle. I don't even know, heavy flow. What is that even? We have way too many. We need one set of government tampon, one hygiene product. We need one set of government deodorant.
Wheels are coming
And we need the broads out of the Secret Service. They're going nuts.
The throwing the.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. So, no, I just do voices.
That was pretty good.
Hey, Lindsey Graham, what do you think of it?
Stop playing with it.
Well, thank you for that, sir. 272-9228. 272-9228. This part of the program, again, brought to you by Dylan Rings. And you were checking out Dylan Rings on the Book of Faces.
No, Dylan Rings has some nice things. There's like a ring that I could use.
Go by there.
There wasn't a price on it. I might have to check it out.
119 Brown Springs Road, or DylanRings.com is a good way to go, because they always have surprise discounts. Pricing can change. But they have, folks, high-end jewelry items, including like antique stuff, custom design stuff, or that everyday jewelry. Say you want to look great, have some jewelry on, but you're going to the beach or you're going out for a hike or whatever. Stuff it's not going to break your heart if it gets messed up or lost or something, but it still looks great. So they span the gamut there. And of course, they can do things like spa treatments for your jewelry, make it shine again, or reset stones, repair work, including watch repairs, and of course, don't forget that custom design work. It's often people think of, ladies wanting to wear their finest. Eddie and I want to get like custom made, like funky fresh medallions.
Some, like, chains.
Yeah.
No, Dylan looks like he could do some chains too.
Yeah, Josh Ryder. His son, it's named after his son, Dylan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get it now. Okay, Josh Ryder.
At Dylan Rings.
At Dylan Rings.
Yeah.
Looks like he could do some chains.
And he's been at work for decades now. Like Sky Mosley, next time you see Sky.
Yeah.
He had an update to his wedding band where diamonds were put into it, and Josh Ryder did that work years ago, and it still looks beautiful.
Fancy Sky.
Yeah, so again, Dylan Rings can do it all there, folks. It's a one-stop shop for anything having to do with jewelry. So stop by today, 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of Atlanta Highway. I remember it in the sense of where the old fun zone used to be. I used to work there. Kind of miss the funnest of zones. And be sure to tell them that Joey on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Glenn Murdoch. Alabama is a great place to live and work and raise our families because Alabamians are a good people of faith and traditional values. But a huge gambling bill in Montgomery would change our culture forever. Neon light casinos bringing more crime to our big cities and small towns, highly addictive cell phone betting, and the state selling the lie of lottery riches to the poor and most vulnerable. With all that's wrong in the world, this is no time to give up on our traditional values in Alabama. Call and ask your senator to be the leader you elected them to be, to stand strong and vote no on gambling, and keep the Alabama we know and love. Thank you.
Call your senator at 334-261-0800, 334-261-0800, 334-261-0800. Paid for by Alabama Eagle Forum, Box 130757, Birmingham.
Hi, this is Jeff Mallinson with Georgia Floors Direct, and I want to talk to you about Blue Water Broadcast and how they've helped my business spread the word. As every small business owner, I have to look at my advertising dollars carefully, and Blue Water Broadcast helps me get the most for every dollar I spend. I'm so glad to be a part of Blue Water Broadcasting and what they bring to Montgomery.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. Our warming trend continues. Our storm-free pattern continues with a spectacular weekend forecast for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. Today, another warm day with a high around 85. Good bit of sunshine. I have the rain chances under 20%, so very tiny. Nights are mild. Overnight low tonight down to about 61. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather continues. Lots of sunshine. Highs in the middle 80s right on through the upcoming weekend. A great forecast on the Gulf Coast beaches with highs in the 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Got a lot of jobs to do this spring? Save now on Kubota's BX23S tractor, loader, and backhoe combo at Capital Tractor, and check off that to-do list. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey, miss, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Been a fun show today. No, it really has, in all seriousness, breath of fresh air, Allison. Thank you for being here.
This was fun. It's like doing a radio show with your little brother. Sometimes
cool.
I'm the little brother.
I'll take
it. A little immature. Sometimes it's you.
Right.
But it's fun.
No, I listened riding in to Unfiltered with you and Alan Abs there on...
Can you imagine Scott having and Amy Beth having to deal with...
I don't know how he does it.
Me and Abs?
I don't know how he does it. Because there are moments where it's like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're like, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Guys! That would have been me in certain moments.
Okay, so what are those annoying moments?
It's the crosstalk. Sometimes I can't understand
you. know what? It is very difficult.
Right.
Because we're all very mouthy and we all have lots of opinions.
Like mouthy broads.
Yes. and it's just sometimes it gets the best of us.
Oh yeah. Well, and I yell at Eddie all the time to shut up when you're talking to me. So it's like it comes with the territory of doing a show.
3 is a crowd.
I think it works.
Now, how does it work? Like when you've got Craig who doesn't stop talking. Tomorrow you'll have Craig.
Oh, it could go silly, or we could get into like Christian history and philosophy. Who knows?
But then you've got Eddie and you've got you. Do y'all talk over each other?
Yeah, but it's like a dance partner. So you learn, or playing music with somebody. You know when Eddie's can read me now. Like when I'm feeling tired, he needs to pick it up a little bit. When he can tell when I'm about to slow down. Like you can build up a rapport. And actually, I've noticed y'all getting better. The more you do it,
right, the
more you kind of know what the lines are. Sometimes it's a little tough having the remote thing, like Sky trying to jump in. You can't see each other. That throws a wrench in the gears at times. But
so you got Sky here. You've got us in Birmingham. And then you have callers.
Yeah.
And so it's just a whole...
Y'all have a great cast of characters. And, well, here's one that calls into my show, a great character, but also just a good man, Mr. Pink.
Oh, I love Mr. Pink.
Hey, Mr. Pink.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You're making me bless your work. I just called. I don't have anything to add, man. The show's been great. Like I said, it's been a breath of fresh air, man. It's an election season, so I'm not going to call that much because, I'm a Democrat. I know this is mostly for Republicans, and I know they don't want to hear me say any truth, because sometimes it's the messenger,
I welcome you calling in and saying whatever the heck you want, man.
Mr. Pink, I really didn't know you were a Democrat.
I've been a Republican before. I'm actually just a people's person. I'm not into the church. I have my faith in people. That's pretty much why I haven't even been to church, because I just really lost faith in people, man. There was a big difference, man. When I was coming up, you used to compete. Like churches would compete. You would, it was a big thing, and I'm trying to get that back. That's why I talk to different people. I listen to everything, man, and then like I said, you can learn from a crackhead, even if it's just not to do crack. So I don't cancel anybody out, man. But
I like
learned
that.
a lot from you guys.
No,
I
I
learned
like.
a lot from you guys.
Yeah, I actually find myself agreeing with you a lot. So we're working together. We're finding common ground. That's good.
There it is. Well, I'm gonna call in more, but just that the news is so sad, and I don't want to make anybody sadder. I do poetry too, and it can get sad.
Yeah, it can get dark, man. Like some of the stuff I want to share, but I used to share it, and people are like, shut up, Joey.
Do they get uncomfortable?
Let me tell you something real quick before you guys go. I was having a conversation with a 16-year-old. I was telling him, I'm 41. I was telling him that we're the greatest. We was the last greatest generation. I was telling him that when we was coming up, we didn't have like that porn and all that. Like we had to learn love. Like now it's like everything is just, you can just pull it right up, and it's like a lust thing. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like.
Have you ever? This song's been stuck in my head lately because it just came up on my YouTube feed. It was part of a comedy special Bo Burnham did. It came out in 2021, but the song is called "Welcome to the Internet," and it really, I think it's like the song of our times. It's kind of dark because it's like, oh, what you should do to get fat? Here's how you can kill your mom. Like it's like it goes through like all these internet things. And then it goes into a chorus, a little bit of everything all the time. A little bit of everything all the time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well,
And it's a good expression. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw it coming, man. It's like a couple of years ago, maybe before that. Like, what else can you do on YouTube? I was telling my old lady, like, man, they're finna do crazy stuff. Just wait. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, enjoy the show. I like this combo you guys got, man. I want to see it again.
Thank you, Mr. Pink.
Thank you, Mr. Pink.
Appreciate it.
No, it's so true, and it's scary because like my oldest son is 21, so he started maybe in 4th or 5th grade where you just had the little flip phone,
mm-hmm.
and then
that's how I started.
Yeah, so you start with the flip phone, and then all of a sudden you get like I think when he got in high school, he finally got an iPhone. He was older, and we didn't know. It's almost like cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know how bad it was, but my husband and I were talking, and Jared was like, I mean, we used to have to work to find the Playboys. It was in like one friend's garage in the
Greg
backyard.
Goodell's talked about it. They had a porn pipe.
Well, like they had to climb through a broken window
to
get through, and it was just like just a paper.
Right. It was community. Like,
and
it
that's it was just 2D.
Yeah, now it's everywhere. Now it's all over Twitter, for instance. But also some of it is like, hey, stop your bad habits, like if you don't want to see it. But it is in front of people all the time. And I can even remember early days of the internet when I'm in middle school, let's say early aughts, we were finding all sorts of crazy stuff at a young age.
And isn't that so weird? We didn't know what the internet could do. Like Connor and his friend, they were looking for Dallas Cowboys, like just literally researching like Tony Romo, Dallas Cowboys. Well, that led to Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Oh yeah.
And then,
Debbie.
it's like, you end up in a place you didn't mean to. And now, hey, you can just go to your local library.
Right.
Until today.
Well,
Well, now we got to pass the Senate.
I think if somebody's well adjusted, they're having a good time in life, like you probably won't go down certain rabbit holes. But what worries me is, okay, the internet's beautiful because every person who felt alone in the world can now connect with thousands, if not millions of other people. But people felt alone in their small town. And sometimes that could be a really good thing. Like, I'm really interested in this topic that is wholesome, but nobody else likes it, but you find friends online.
Okay.
That also goes, though, for the creeps and the weirdos, like the pedophiles, so many other things, murderers, or folks that are into some weird stuff. They can now connect with one another. And so it is really like, hey, let's just open up all of human nature and put it on a grand scale. And then now let's feed it into neural networks and build a digital god that'll set us free from ourselves and death itself, Allison. What do you think? What do you say?
That was a lot. It's terrifying, kind of like what you just did.
This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with all of your pest control needs. It could be you got termites that you're worried about. In fact, you should go ahead and get the treatment done before any damage happens, because the damage is much more expensive to fix. Neither treatment or damage is covered by homeowners insurance. So get the treatment done early, folks. Pest Pro will come out and lay some bait, so if termites do hit your property, they'll know. Come and take care of them. And of course, they can help you with if you have a big fire ant problem, or maybe a unruly wasp's nest back in the storage unit, or it could be mosquitoes are bedeviling you in your backyard or your front porch. Wouldn't it be nice to invite grandma over and not have to spray her with off? You can just go enjoy the pool or something. And we all know tiki torches are right out. Can't do that anymore. So call up Pest Pro Services today. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. Be sure to tell them that, well, you heard about them here from Joey, that crazy fella on the radio.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments here of News and Views on a Thursday. Thank you again for being here, Allison.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, but we're not done yet because we have Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet on the line. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, it has been a great day. What a beautiful day outside. I've been all over the place. Wetumpka twice, Montgomery, just going like busy as bees. Terry's headed to somewhere. He's down south somewhere, like Dothan or something. But I got Bart, David, and Chad in the office, and Chad just raised his hand saying he would go if y'all would call him right now at 285-8117.
Wow.
285-8117?
Yeah. He said it could be for any reason, not just carpet. He just wants to get out of the store.
That's service.
So somebody help David out. 285-8117. And of course, Prattville Carpet can help you all out too. They'll literally go the extra mile, come to you, even with samples. Great folks there.
In literally a week turnaround time, you got a new floor. Just that simple.
Hey, and when you call them, be sure to not only give a shout out to David, but tell him you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ray. So, yeah, we got about a minute left. Did we learn anything today?
I thought about cannibalism way more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're welcome.
Yeah, I learned. I mean, we had a good discussion about free speech.
Yeah,
I think that's an important one.
Yeah.
Because when you hear things you disagree with, you want to be like, we got to stop that.
We learned you have more haters than I do.
You need to step up your game.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Randall. He brought me some really pretty peonies.
Here, hold them more close to the
Actually, they're opening. They were, oh gosh, I got to go the other way. They were all closed, kind of like that at the start. Wait, it's backwards.
Nice.
At the start of the show. And now they're opening and they're so pretty.
Oh,
so
that's
thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you, Randall.
Thank you, Randall. I hope you're having a good day. Joey, I had fun.
I had fun too.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, please.
Good luck with Craig tomorrow.
Oh, guy's a great guy.
Craig uses big words and
We
I
get
have to
along famously.
look them up.
Yeah, folks are like, Joey, why do you keep talking in cursive? Well, it's because sometimes I want to say a thing and I can't.
I like that.
You know, like, what did I describe? A lot of the politics as a circle or circus of onanism.
I got nothing.
Onanism means masturbation, folks. You can figure it out from there. It's from the Bible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I didn't need to learn that I learned today.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to leave.
Friday, tomorrow. Right now, Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Universities taking different approaches to deal with anti-Semitic protests. Some calling in police to break up demonstrations against the Israel-Hamas war, resulting in dozens of arrests, while others are appearing content to wait out the student protest as the final days of the semester tick down and graduation ceremonies loom. Arguments heard at the Supreme Court in Donald Trump's bid to avoid prosecution over his efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss to Democrat Joe Biden. A ship traveling in the Gulf of Aden has come under rocket attack. It was the latest assault likely carried out by Yemen's Houthi rebels. On Wall Street, stocks remain sharply lower. The Dow is down 314 points. This is SRN News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a